Hey everybody, welcome to GameHounds. And of course, as soon as I press play or press record, then the dog starts to have issue with something in the front yard. She has learned.
She's gonna pee on something.
No,
I
she's
gotta
just
pee. I
like
gotta pee.
she's in that point of like where she's not barking. She's just going. So I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Andrew Smith, who is back from Seattle, and Nick. And yes, you will notice that I am masked. I woke up this morning with something going on up in here. And so, in an abundance of caution for my ailing husband, I am masking inside the house until he's in the kitchen right now. And when he's back in his room, then I will mask off.
Okay. That's
so,
good. Yeah. Safety precaution.
And I got my COVID, literally just made a COVID test for tomorrow morning. I don't think it's COVID, but it's kind of sort of my own fault. I've been out more because I'm having to take over more stuff that Kevin was normally doing, like going to the store and walking the dogs and picking up food and stuff like that. And I didn't really think about it at the time, but now that I've got some what's going on, I remembered that there was an evening when my eyes were just really like kind of gummy. And so I just was rubbing my eyes, and I realized after I felt, started to feel bad a couple of days later that, I hadn't, I didn't, like wash my hands before I did that. Because I'm just, it's like I've not been exposed. I mean, I've been indoors for pretty much a year and a half at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as soon as Kevin is out of the kitchen, then we'll start. So, we haven't done any pre-show stuff, so we should.
Okay.
What games we're going to talk about?
First, I just want to say, Andrew, in honor of you being back, I remember one of the first shows that you were on, you mentioned a shirt that you were looking at. The Dungeons and Cats shirt?
Yeah.
I kept that tab open for... How long have you been on the show now?
Oh, goodness. Over a year.
You have been on it for over a year. Have you?
Yeah, no.
I think he has, yeah.
Oh, God, has it been a year? Jesus Christ. That was fast.
So I opened a tab when you told me about that shirt because I was like, oh, that's cute. I might want to pick it up. I had that tab open for a year. And finally, I ended up buying the shirt. And so in honor of your return, I am going to wear the shirt that you first introduced me to so long ago.
I've gained a little weight, so that might not work for me, but I would totally have worn it too if you would let me know. Then we get one for Edie, and we all wear it.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I am
just
glad.
Rename the show from GameHounds to Dungeons and Cats.
I think that would give the wrong impression of what our show is about. But
yeah. And I was finally able to close a tab.
Nice.
I only have 128 to go.
What? Do you have 100? Really? You have 128 tabs open?
No, I just made that number up. I do have a lot of tabs. I'm a tab.
I was about to say you need help. I have a friend who's also...
And you wonder why your like stream looks like shit. By the way, did you plug in today? Because you look great.
I have a fucking cable going from the Ethernet to my computer.
It looks great.
Good. I hope so.
This is. I think that we can ask the chat room. How does Andrew look? I mean, how does Nick look now compared to what he normally does? You always look great, Andrew. Hey, Kevin, you still in the kitchen?
I still love your cats so much, and the fact that.
Oh yeah, he's.
Look.
Okay, let me know when you're out, because I'm gonna take my mask off when that happens.
Yeah, he's no longer blurry, Nick.
Yeah.
I can go back to being the gray block, not the gray blob.
Yep. Blocks have sharp corners.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
you can actually make out all the shit on the shelves now.
What games are we going to talk about?
That's No Man's Sky.
Yeah, me too.
I have nothing that I can talk about at length, but I will mention that I tried playing Sims 4, and by playing Sims 4, I mean I tried modding it. And the game has just been me trying to mod it. So,
Oh, that's
So
a
I
different
don't-
kind of game.
All right. And what news? Let's say, let me get rid of all this. Oop. That was last week. Getting rid of all the banners from last week's news. So what news we got? Quantic. QNTIC. Quantic? I guess that's right.
Quantic
Dreams.
Dreams? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Quantic Dreams. Heads. Studio heads are nut jobs in port. Okay. We'll make them nut bags. Nut balls. We'll go. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that they're nut balls.
Okay. Oh my god, autoplay videos. I am going through the Discord.
Now you're going through the Discord? Oh, Jesus. See, this is Bloody
some
Reaper.
days-
This is what you've done. You have created a monster because Nick now has the ultimate
there
crutch. It's a total crutch for him to do even
There are
less work.
some days. There was some last week. I made like a list in Google Docs of all the news stories that I saw, and I came prepared. This week I'm just not. But I'm 50-50. Okay, that's from last week.
Let's see what else have I got. The E3. What's happening when? All right. When is spelled with an H, not W-E-N. All right. So what else you got? What do you guys got?
Battlefield 6 has been announced and a reveal date.
Okay.
Far Cry 6 is going to be political. And then just E3 stuff, which I can latch on to that.
Nick?
You won't be able to play some older Need for Speed titles. Right, I need to open. This one, I'm just going to take the headline from thing. Xbox Live's gold-free games are so bad they're creating conspiracies.
Xbox Live Gold's free games are so bad they're creating conspiracies. Okay.
There's a new PS3 update. Yes, the PS3.
Okay. Or as I like to write it.
What would it say? Like they've released some images from Borderlands, but like they're all silhouettes, and so you can't really see much.
The Borderlands movie or the Borderlands?
The movie.
Oh.
You know, but it's I don't know if it's that newsworthy. Because it's like, oh, okay, you showed a character without actually showing them. That's
Okay. Anything else?
Yes. The best pillow is a life-size Pokemon.
Okay.
And I think that's it.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, I got people in the chat room. Got Corey Wallace. Oh man, Corey, it's been a while. Got Sean Barbour back. Were you able to pick up a free digital copy of my comic Belial in the Pimp
Yes,
Yourself thread?
I did. Normally I use Discord on the phone, and I didn't want to download it there, but I was just able to download it on the Discord to my computer now.
Yeah.
So I've got the PDF.
ESO has new DLC on Tuesday. We will not be talking about that, Corey, because you just did. I've gotta go back on to ESO so I can cancel my subscription.
That's not what he wants
Oh
to hear.
yeah, you should probably
do that.
Do that.
I'm paying $15 a month for fuck all.
I mean, you've played so much ESO in the last month, though, Edie.
No. So yeah, we got AC Wraith, of course. Diana Ryder. Oh, what a nice thing to say. Diana Ryder says, new to comment, but Edie, I appreciate you masking. Even if it isn't COVID, you can keep him from getting whatever you have. Exactly. That is one thing that COVID, the pandemic, has taught us. There are so many people, pretty much everybody I know are like, I haven't been sick in a year and a half. I've never gone this long in my life without even getting the flu. And yeah, it's part of us not being out and not, socializing in closed spaces like we normally do. But it's also a function of everybody's washing their hands way more. And they're wearing these. And, Asia teaches us, they do it in Asia. If you at all feel sick, you wear a mask just out of courtesy to keep other people from getting it. Because the mask doesn't help you from not getting the virus or, breathing in viruses. What the mask does is two things. It keeps you from spreading it to somebody else, but also it's a really good visual to people to remind them to stay back from you. And it kind of clues them in on like, oh, maybe when I'm done seeing this person, I should wash my hands. And you just all of a sudden like get a thing. It puts it in your mind to, hey, viruses.
It also, who doesn't love people staying away from other people? Like, that's just yeah.
People have been talking to me about how hard the last year is. And I'm like, this has been the best. All the other things aside, this has been the best year for me. I loved working from home, never seeing anybody. If they want to talk to me face to face, you just put it on a video chat. I do not have to go actually hang out with you. Because even though I'm an extrovert, I am actually suffer from crippling social anxiety. So person to person contact just has always made me, well, not always, but last few years particularly have made me anxious. So I'm like, this has been great. Like staying in, playing video games, hanging out with my friends on, PSN or on Xbox Live. That's fine.
Okay, I have one more news story.
Oh.
Probably the most interesting one, actually.
Okay.
Artist files lawsuit against Capcom for stealing her texture photos.
Oh, I saw that! Oh, yes.
I just saw that.
It's absolutely fucking compelling, too.
Yeah, because it's not the normal type of photo and art that usually gets stolen. I guess reused, maybe. Whatever.
Yeah. I actually looked at the photographic evidence in the lawsuit that was filed with the lawsuit. Yeah, they totally fucking stole her. Like not just a few, like a lot of textures that she had in this book. So, all right, anything? Hey, we got DJ Phil Collins in there. He says 2020 was a little bit of a Black Mirror episode showing shut-ins like me to be careful what I wish for. Yeah. All right. I guess we're ready to go. Well, I have to still set up the podcast. All right. Kevin's on his way back into his room.
He seems to have collected his bounty.
Yeah. The hunter-gatherer.
Yeah.
The hunter stalks his prey, a strip of bacon from the refrigerator.
They're
It is lying
surprisingly
there
sneaky.
motionless, hoping not to be noticed. But the predator knows when it's time to strike.
They can often blend in with the texture of a counter, but unfortunately, they give off a scent
Right.
that always gives them away.
He stalks the prey. All right. I'm sorry. We're just like this is like my virus muddled head talking. Right
I mean,
now.
in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, they're actually very difficult to hunt because you have to like catch them raw and then trap them and burn them alive before you can eat them. So they're very difficult to contain.
You can't burn them alive. You have to burn them only a little bit.
Yes. Burn them just the right amount.
Yeah,
And so I don't know.
A whole backstory. And...
Yeah, so now I'm wondering: is Kevin like one of those bugs that is able to shoot acid from their mouth so that they can burn the prey very quickly, very slightly, so that it gives it a nice crunch as they
And
eat
this
it?
is why Nick is the author and we are not.
There are bugs that do that. They like spit and it's 1,000 degrees. Yeah,
if you want to see something
do that
truly,
to an ant.
If you want to read something possibly the most fucking disturbing thing in biology, read about the breeding cycle of bed bugs.
Oh, I don't know that.
Oh my God. If you didn't hate bed bugs now, wait until you find out how they fucking reproduce.
Let's say we don't.
It is the stuff of fucking nightmares. Nick, if you want to truly disturb people, read about how bedbugs reproduce and then put that into some kind of fucking story.
Okay.
A horror story. Because it is a fucking, like, it's a bedbug. And I was reading it and it's like, oh my God. Oh, that's so disturbing. Should I look it up?
Maybe not now. Save that for post show.
No, to do that post show, I will hunt down and describe the breeding cycle of a bedbug.
Is that what people want from their post show? Let us know. Leave a comment.
Seriously, just make sure that you haven't eaten beforehand. It is
I need to update that.
Bone chilling what they do. Oh, thank you for the link. If you are interested in Nick's work, Nick's books, there's Nick's work on Amazon. Yes, he has an Amazon page because he is a real fucking author.
I need to update that. There was one thing on there that I need to add.
DJ Phil Gunn says, everything I know about cooking I learned from Monster Hunter World. Diana Ryder says, yeah, same thing about it being like a Black Mirror episode. This really is the show for shut-ins, and that's okay. You are with friends. Yeah, I mean, if many things were different, I would be like 2020 was the best year for me, with obviously some possible exceptions. It was like a red letter year. Sorry, dog hair in the microphone and it's tickling my chin. All right, so shall we start the show?
Yeah.
All right. Have I got everything what I need to do? Everything good? Everything good? Everything good? Nick, talk.
Test.
Andrew, talk. Andrew?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not looking at the screens because I have my other screen up. So it's like I was just waiting with a black screen in front of me. All right. So starting the show. Oh, no, I'm not. Gotta do the actual description. Oops. Darn it. Here we go. Yeah, I know. I'm just riveting. Riveting show right now.
You finished My Hero, right? Nick?
Me, I finished season 4. I haven't started, or maybe I'm like 2 episodes from the end of season 4. I stopped at what felt like a natural stopping point because season 5 is like not finished, and I thought, no, I'm not gonna stop halfway.
Fair.
By the way,
Fair.
you have, Andrew, you have watched Fruits Basket?
I've not. I've just a bunch of people I've talked to love the show. Yeah, breaking Edie's mind.
It's that good. It
Yeah.
is that good. I mean, there's a lot of really good anime out there. There's a lot of things I really like. There are very few important shows. This is an important show. It's not just about a story. It goes so much deeper. It is
Good.
oh God. It is better than most movies. And like if it was an Oscar, it should win one because it's of that same caliber of a level of important story to tell.
Not just any anime gets a reboot. Like you can probably count the number of animes that got a reboot like on your hand.
Yeah. And this needed to it's God dang it. What is that? There's Sorry. I have not done my microphone hygiene this week. I need to wash it and give it a dry. All right. So are you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this.
Discusses video games, modern culture, and technology. And these podcasters are big fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom says to take out the trash and do your homework.
Mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 597. We are recording this on Sunday, June 6th, 2021. I'm Edie Sellers. With me is Nick DiNicola and Andrew Smith is back. Yay!
It's been a
Happy
little bit.
to have you back.
Yeah, it's been a while. You went on an adventure.
Yeah.
I did. Wasn't as long as I would have liked, but yeah.
So where did you go and what did you see?
So I went up to Washington and I ended up going up to like Burlington, which is north of Seattle. And it was mostly hanging out with my friend and their family. And I went and I drove around. I went to some islands, went and saw the ocean, went and saw some mountains, stuff like that. Mostly.
Is this the first time you've been out of the state? I mean, other than, like the neighboring state that you're on the border of?
Pretty much. Once I went to like Kansas City. And outside of that, just, Nebraska and Iowa is pretty much it.
So you never seen the ocean before?
No, this is the first time. I'd never seen actual mountains before either, or flown, or any of that.
You'd never seen mountains before?
Do you know where I live, Edie?
Yes, I do, but still, you'd never seen a mountain before.
There is no mountains between Council Bluffs, which is on the border of Iowa, or Omaha, which is on the other side of that border. No. Yeah.
So what were your impressions of the ocean and mountains?
One is a big body of water, for sure. And the other one is some really large rocks.
Okay, sure.
No, it was good. The time of day I went to go see the ocean, unfortunately, it was reflecting off the surface and like right into my face. So I was mostly blind.
It'll do that sometimes.
It was awesome, kind of, just seeing water to like the edge of the horizon. But honestly, as someone who's lived in a flat place most of their life, seeing mountains like in the distance were more stunning. Like just seeing that scale. I have large hills here, but not like mountains in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was enjoyable.
So crazy thing about the ocean, What color was it when you saw it?
Blue.
Okay. The ocean is different colors. Big bodies of water can be totally different colors wherever you are. Like the ocean up in Washington, even though it's still the same Pacific Ocean, it is blue. Down here, it is green. And inside the bay, it is like opaque, almost like jade green. Not deep jade, but like pale jade.
It's
It is
sludge.
it looks a little bit sludgy, but that's the natural look of it. It's just the way that the water reflects off the bottom, the way that the sun reflects off the water, it all looks different. And then you go to places like different oceans and they are totally fucking different. Like the ocean in Greece is so blue and crystal fucking clear.
I thought you were going to say that the body of water in the bay was brown. I thought you were going to go with that.
Sometimes it is brown. You can have also brown water that is like everybody goes down to Los Angeles and they're like, oh, the beach, it's going to be so warm at the beach. First off, it's fucking cold. The water in the beach in LA is fucking freezing because it's the fucking Pacific Ocean and it's not blue. It's like mostly green. So yeah. And thank you for the link for Fruits Basket. We were talking about Fruits Basket. If you like anime, that's an anime, and you have not seen it, you need to see that show. It's important with a capital I. So, how are things? How's things going?
I'm back. So
yeah,
that's the thing.
How is it going back to work after your first day of being on vacation?
Vacation's a trap. It lures you in, it makes you comfortable, and then it's like, ha, that was only temporary. Back to work you go.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that first day back and that first week back is like, oh God, it is the longest week ever.
Well, I only work 3 days anyways, so it's kind of
still it feels like 10 those 3 days.
Thankfully it was they were easy days, so that wasn't a problem.
That's good.
But it's still just kind of like you don't want to go back. Like you've had so much time to just relax and unwind that you're done.
Where you're like, what is my password? How do I do things that I've been doing for years? It's just like, what's the website I need to go to sign in? Oh shit.
I didn't get a lot of chance to spend in Seattle. Like I basically had to drop off my rental right away and take a shuttle back to my hotel. So I didn't get to go anywhere. But like the next time I travel, which I do want to travel now more, I would like to actually spend longer than I think I was up there for 4 days total in Washington, which is just not a lot of time to really do anything. And if I get a couple weeks, I'd like to spend longer than a week and actually go and do stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hopefully you will be able to go to PAX in September.
Yes.
Of course, you still won't see, right? Yeah, well, that's 4 days, and you still won't see much of Seattle. You'll drink a lot. Oh crap! Stand by.
But it'll be a fun experience, for sure. That'll be its own thing.
PAX.
Do you have that thing where your PlayStation will random? I mean, not for Andrew, but for Nick. That thing where your PlayStation randomly turns on your TV set every once in a while.
Is it the PlayStation that does that?
Yeah. You've been noticing that too?
Then, I thought it was just the TV. And I don't know, once a month, I'm sitting and, I'm working and suddenly the TV turns on. It's like, what the fuck?
It's like, Nick, come play me.
No, it's the PlayStation.
I had no idea. Because the PlayStation's off when it does that.
Yeah. And I've got this thing that if I turn on my television, sometimes my PlayStation just boots up. I haven't touched the PlayStation controller. It is across the room. I just start the TV and it starts the PlayStation.
The PlayStation really wants to be like, well, your TV's on. Do you want to play?
Yeah, I know.
You want to play me, don't you? Yeah. You want to play me. It's been a while. You've been playing the Xbox way too much. You need to play me. It's like, no, I need to watch Netflix.
I mean, that's what's good for me is that if it turns on, it just turns on to the Roku homepage with all the apps. Mm-hmm. So no video comes on.
Yeah, no, mine turns on to one of the basic apps on mine is TV Plus, and it's set to cheddar. So I get like, like all of a sudden some talking head talking about stocks today, and it's like, oh, shit.
Brie did this well. Good is down though.
Cheddar talks more about than cheese.
I know
They
cheddar.
really don't ever talk about cheese.
No, I know what the channel is. I just think it's funny that like they name themselves Cheddar.
Well, you know why? Cheddar is a nickname for money, like Benjamins.
Yeah.
No, I guess so. I haven't heard that slang in a while though.
Yeah,
It is an older one.
it's an old one, like the 50s.
Why do they call it moolah?
Moolah, right? They could have called it moolah, but they decided to call it.
I mean,
cheddar.
you don't hear greenbacks anymore, but
I
that's
was just
still-
thinking
was-
that. I was
Good
like,
one.
that might tread dangerously close to offending.
Yeah. Let's see. What's another one? What's another one of those archaic terms? I mean, all I can think of is dollar bill.
Greenback, cheddar,
Pink notes. I don't know.
Let's see. Let's look it up.
I'm sure you can get
Totally.
like there's some crazy old timey slang.
Let's see. Boodle, brass, buck, cheese, monkey, quid,
Monkey.
That's UK via India.
Oh, here's a 100 slang words for money.
Yep.
I don't know.
Smacker.
Smackers, right?
This is the content.
Wongas.
Wongus.
Yep.
Oh,
wonga,
okay. Benjamin.
Right.
Bacon.
Bacon, making bacon, right?
Yeah.
Getting that bread.
Benji.
Bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan. Never let you forget you're a man, because I'm a WOMAN.
Big
You know
one.
that
Bill
there's a song
Bones.
that's Bones. Yep.
Boodle.
Boodle.
That's what, bread.
Bread. Oh yeah.
Basically
make
just
bread.
any food item.
Yeah,
Right.
Getting that bread.
Yeah. Or
Beans, yeah, I'm gonna have some beans, bread, and cheddar tonight.
as a guy that told me when we were like really good friends, and it's like, why don't we ever date? We were coworkers, and I'm like, why haven't we dated? We get along so well. And he said, because you don't get your meat where you get your bread.
Wrong. I get both from a Walmart. I'm not doing well, guys.
Yeah, I know. I get both from a Safeway.
Thank you for that link. All right, so this is total
Also, cabbage, cake,
cabbage,
celery, cheddar cheese, chips, clams, cream.
clams. Yep.
Just to be like,
I'm only looking for the food. Dough.
Yeah, dough.
Fetty? I guess fetty is very close to a food.
What would fetty be?
Gouda.
Gouda. Yep.
Actually, one called Gouda. Grease. Grease is part of food.
It's a
Grease.
that
I mean, I
has
guess it'd be
foods.
like greasing the gears. You know, like when you're trying to slip somebody a bribe.
When you said
Lettuce.
grease,
and-
I thought
Greasing the skids. That's what it is. Greasing the skids.
when you
Nuggets.
said grease, I thought
Oh, forget your life had ducats.
Salad. I'm just looking for the food ones now.
Salad, right? Because that goes with lettuce.
Smackers. Isn't Smackers a like a candy, a fruit thing?
Uh,
No, it's a jelly. It's a jelly.
yeah,
Yeah,
Smuckers. You're thinking
Oh,
Smuckers.
Smuckers. Okay.
And you're also thinking of Lip Smackers, which is a lip gloss, fruit flavored lip gloss.
I guess tender is one that also counts. They're all chicken tenders.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
that's
think that's
legal.
them.
No, they mean legal tender. Which
Yes, I know.
is-
I'm just looking for the food ones.
Yeah,
I mean,
all right.
Nick wants to make a whole like feast out of
I
just
want a
money.
20-course meal that's all just money.
They just
money
bring their
terms.
money.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. We'll start with some salad,
with some cheese on it.
with some Gouda
Yeah.
and some
Some
cheddar.
cheese, Gouda, some celery on the side.
Right.
Then move on to the bread. Gotta have the bread.
Right. No, you got to have some soup, clams,
Oh yeah, some clams.
clam chowder.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna have some chicken tenders and some chicken nuggets.
I'm just imagining like a waiter bringing you just like money on a plate just over and over again.
he wouldn't be wrong. Okay, this is obviously
Okay, yeah. We're
still
here to
this,
talk about video games.
right? Give video games, yay! So, what games did you play this week?
I just played one.
Yeah, me too.
Again.
And let me get and I know for a fact it is the same game.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really played anything new, but I do want to talk about It Takes Two real quick. I did
Oh,
remember something. Don't worry.
All right.
Just
Okay.
dropping that on you.
Sure.
So I mentioned this game, and have you guys played it at all yet?
No, I have not played it yet. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but I haven't played it.
So it's a really fun game. The art
Yeah.
design for it is amazing. The mechanics are awesome. However, it has like no like semblance of a cohesive tone. And what I mean by this is that like the first area you play in is a shed, and you have all these anthropomorphic like tools and stuff. They're kind of cute little characters. You're running around like larger than life world. It's all bright and colorful. And that's fine. Like it looks like a kid's game in a way. But it's a little bit more complicated than like what I think kids would be comfortable with. I mean, it's a puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
But you play through it, and obviously you're dealing with like marital issues and stuff like that. So like the story isn't really necessarily aimed at kids either, because they wouldn't really appreciate that, I don't think. But as you go through, there's one scene in particular. Like you go from this, you go to a big tree where like you're dealing with squirrels who are at war with wasps, and they're like super militant, and they are talking about just we gotta kill them, we gotta stop them, and all of that. And then afterwards, you go through this space mission, which isn't all that bad, but you climb this castle, and there's spoilers here, guys, so you don't want to spoil this game. That's fine. And in this level, and you're kind of seeing it on screen right now, it's literally a kid's toy box essentially, and it's exceptionally like more like a kid's game in that, because you're dealing with a bunch of toys and you're running around. But at the end of it, your entire goal here is you think that by making your daughter cry, you'll turn back into a human. And the way they're going to do that is they're going to take their her favorite stuffed toy and destroy it. And the stuffed toy is the queen of the castle at the top of where they're trying to get to. And eventually you get up there. And what commences is the most horrifying... Oh, quick side note. The game, the part that she just got to, after you get captured and thrown in a dungeon, becomes a Diablo-esque, over-the-top dungeon scroller.
Wow.
Where one person has like magic abilities and the other person is a sword fighter. And this is just an example of what this game does. It takes a bunch of different mechanics, and for different parts of the game, you do it.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive, like mechanically, that every level basically becomes a different type of co-op game.
Well, most of the game is the same, but like there are just sections that will like do stuff like this, and it's amazing.
It's a bit. Does it? Well, the question is, it's either gonna work or it's absolutely not going to work. Which is it?
It works.
Okay.
It definitely works. It's fantastic.
Because otherwise, it seems like it could be like a psychotic mess of like, what are we doing now? And
no, it breaks this stuff up in a way that's incredibly charming, and like you don't expect it, but each section feels well like planned and thought out. Like this feels good when you're playing it. It's not a mess. Like you each have these skills, and you use those skills to get around in the environment in a way that's co-op and that you work together. So it's all done in that sense of teamwork. But again, my only issue is with the tone of the game, because as I was mentioning, you get to the top of this castle, and there's the this super nice elephant queen who's like, "Oh, hello everyone, how are you? Oh, I'm so happy to have you." And they're like, "Oh, this really sucks that we have to murder her." What? You have to what? And
Oh no, they're chasing the elephant. It's running to an escape shuttle.
yes, having now known that they're here to murder her, she tries to escape and she doesn't get away. And you drag her to the edge, and as you do, she starts getting caught on stuff and slowly getting torn apart. And it's super dark and fucked up. All in an effort to make your daughter cry.
And this is like, Edie, could you move the mouse a little bit? This is the middle of the game, so I'm
Yes.
assuming this doesn't work.
No, they murder this amazing, nice queen, and they rip off her ear, and they kind of torture her as they're dragging her.
Oh God!
Doing it with a Kazakrane game?
Yeah, so yeah. And you succeed in this.
I did not realize how fucked up this game is.
You're not.
It's like you look at it and it's like, oh, this is a lighthearted co-op game. I'm sure kids would love it. It's like, no, this is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, this part in particular. Because again, she's portrayed as this like sweet young princess character that's like perfect and nice and full of candy and love. And you're just like, yeah, we have to murder her. And yeah, just this one scene in particular was like really heart-wrenching because in the video they're gonna pull her down, but she's caught and she's a stuffed animal, so you can kind of guess what happens.
I'm not like showing spoilers that I shouldn't be showing, right?
I mean, I guess it is a spoiler, but it's also, like I said, this is halfway through the game. This is not the end.
Right. And DJ Phil Collins says you have to murk Barbar's daughter.
Babars.
Babars. I thought it was Barbar.
I always thought Babar.
Babar. I don't know. But
Babar.
yes, you have to do this.
And I am spoiling stuff, yes. But yes, it is halfway through the game. And oh
Jesus, they ripped all the leg and now they're dragging. They're dragging out this death.
Yes, they did. And this is what I mean by like the tone of the game. Everything's kind and fluffy, and like it's a kid's play box, so it's bright and colorful. That's what I'm looking for. And then you slowly torture a nice person.
I mean, even at the core, I feel like there was a little bit of that was okay when, hey, it's a bright and colorful game, but it is about like this husband and wife having marital issues, being turned into toys, and having to like go the way. So you already have that kind of dichotomy where it's like, oh yeah, these are two people that don't like each other going on a fun adventure.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. Like, this feels like it takes that to an extra edge.
Dismembering. Oh God.
Especially because like the game seems to be going so hard on lingering on this, right? It's not you can have, it's a dark game dealing with marital issues, but this is like a very drawn out torture.
Yes. And
I may have seen something just like this on The Walking Dead.
Yeah, exactly. And it is super off-putting too. Like it's hearing about it with no sound is kind of like, it's kind of funny because of the contrast, but when you're doing this, it's legitimately awful.
Is she just like begging the whole time?
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
the entire time you're dragging her. And then it's all in an effort to make your daughter cry, and they literally dance under her tears.
Are they doing this on purpose? Have you finished the game?
At this point in the game, they think this is how they break the spell.
Okay, well, I'm wondering, is the game doing all this on purpose to make us not like the parents and realize, man, maybe these two are not good parents? Is this is it purposely trying to turn us against them?
I don't know. It did. It certainly did. At the very least, it emphasized that they care more about themselves than they're more selfish, and they're not working together.
She's crying. Yes.
Yes, but this is my point. Like, it goes from these fun co-op mechanics, because the game is enjoyable and it is fun, to just this scene, and it's super dark and creepy and like upsetting.
They're dancing under her tears.
Yes, literally dancing under her tears. Like, please cry on me.
Oh my god!
She's actually crying on him.
Oh my god! This is so messed up. Oh my gosh.
I mean, okay. In their defense, I can kind of see the logic of their thinking, because how many movies are like, oh, the tears magically healed someone, or the tears did this, and they're like, oh shit, we're stuck in a fairy tale. We got to make her cry, and we got to like get those tears on us somehow.
Well, she cried on the dolls initially as part of like the magic that happened, and then they got like
okay. So now they're like, we have to get her to cry on us again. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see some logic there, even if it's like a little dark. It's still the excitement of it, right? Yes, the guy bending over, rubbing his butt.
His daughter is crying on his head, and he's rubbing it into his body. Yeah, no,
it's not like, oh good.
DJ has a good quote. He says, "Who hurt the writers in this game? Yeah, where did the bad people touch you?"
These are all children of divorce.
Oh
this
god,
is what they think it's like.
It makes me like interested and morbidly curious about this game way more than I was, but at the same time I'm repulsed by the whole concept.
We might have to play it, because I know it is one of those games, like it's from the guys that did A Way Out, so if one of us buys it, we get like that free co-op pass,
right?
Yeah. And it's only $40. Like I
don't know, $40 is a lot.
It's actually pretty long, and it is legit. Okay, so if I had to give this game a rating for fun, it's 10 out of 10.
Really?
Okay. It is amazing, and the diversity of the game, like each section, and there's like almost 10 of them, have different mechanics, and then even in the game, they have like different uses of the mechanics for different sections. So there's so much in the way of like diversity and like again, finding out that in this section you're suddenly in a dungeon scroller. Like that never gets used again, but it's super fun because you're wondering what comes next, and they always do have something next.
Neat.
All right, good to know. All right, so yeah, It Takes Two.
I'm really curious now if it's going to end with the husband and wife. Only one of them can return. So they're gonna have to like fight each other to be like, I'm the one getting custody.
That's what happened with A Way Out, is that at the end it was only one of them could survive, and you essentially took the two people you were working together with. I mean, spoiler, and you had to fight each other, and only one of them made it.
There were one other maybe critique, and it's not necessarily a problem with me, but the magic book that's trying to fix your relationship has like an almost problematic like character, because he's meant to be like a Latin or Mexican like person, and he talks like this, and I'm gonna make you guys love each other. Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no!
We're gonna fix your problems. It is about cooperation. I don't know what I
You do that pretty well.
Oh, all right. So yeah, fucked up game on a lot of levels.
A game of extremes.
Yeah. So a game of not extremes. No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Once again, I am finding myself putting in 40 hours to determine that I don't like this game.
Okay, so I saw a news story that said they updated the graphics.
Yes,
they did just recently. Yeah,
didn't really notice.
You notice it a little bit, like the warp is a little bit nicer. The when you land at a space station, the place that you land looks a little bit nicer. But for planets, I haven't really noticed like a distinct update. I guess graphically, one of the few things I really don't like about this game that it still hasn't fixed, even on PS5 with the latest update, is the pop-in. This is a game where, you come from the atmosphere, you go to the planet, and as you fly down, you can see all the texture pop in like it's an old Unreal Engine game. So like you're hovering, and then all of a sudden, pop, 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 all these trees appear around you. Then pop, 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 you see animals, and it's a pop, 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 you see like resources, and like they just appear, and it's. I get it, it's a game and it's doing a lot with procedural generation, and I get that. It's just kind of a little annoying visual quirk that
Well, I mean,
it
it's
still
on
hasn't been able to
purpose.
get over.
I feel like that game in particular is about immersion, and like if you're popping in like that, that can immediately break immersion.
Yeah,
if that's what you're after.
especially when it happens like, oh, I'm on a planet's surface, I get in my ship, go up, and I'm 100 feet off the ground, and as I'm going forward, it always has this weird thing where things will kind of like pop in and then shrink into the ground. So it's like pop, pop.
Yeah. In fact, I see things that moving in the distance. I'm like, oh, that's an animal. Oh, it's a rock.
It's like, oh, what's that interesting thing? It's moving. Oh no, that's just the game.
You guys are playing on PS5, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there any settings you can adjust that might turn stuff up or make like the game run better?
Not that I've been able to find. Like, there's no real graphic settings.
Okay.
But I'm complaining about that. I'm really loving the hell out of my time with it. Unlike Edie.
Apparently, like with the PC version, when you set it up to Ultra, that's where you see a lot of like the really good stuff that like they're showing in the videos of the update. They also probably shows a slice of the game that like emphasizes everything perfectly.
They want to put the best foot forward and all that.
So you don't like it, Edie, huh?
It's not that I don't like it. It's like, I mean, I'm playing a lot of it. I play it every evening. Played it every evening this week, and it's I'm running around and mining shit, and then going to the next planet and mining shit. And I have a freighter now.
Yeah, I got one too, and I was like, oh shit, this is cool.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like for me, most of this game is inventory management. That's just the nature of it. Is that. And inevitably, the thing that you just threw away because you only had 10 of them and you really, really, really needed the inventory space, 5 minutes later, you will need that in order that thing. And it's not on this planet. So you got to go out to the planet, or you got to go somewhere and buy something you just literally threw away 5 minutes ago. That's just what happens.
Well, then what we need to do is eventually go and play Warframe while I'm around, and we can play together. So that's the next step, right, Edie?
Yeah,
and
possibly.
Nick,
Possibly.
Nick,
I mean,
you
if
have
I
to
went
join
back to
too.
No Man's Sky, there's I have no leg to stand on why I wouldn't go back to Warframe.
But yeah, I think what I've been really enjoying about it is just the pace, the exploration of it. Like, the same thing that I really dug out of Subnautica is that kind of meditative, methodical, like, yes, there's a lot of like inventory management, but I don't find it tedious here. I actually find it nice and relaxing of like, okay, I'm going to organize the inventory like this. I'm going to put this stuff on my ship. I'm going to go back to my base, put this stuff in a storage container. And also just like kind of slowly finding all the new systems that the game has introduced, like freighters, and then sort of stumbling into and buying a freighter. And like, oh shit, I bought another freighter, and now I have two, and I can send them out on missions. Cool. And doing that, trying to figure out the pace of like, oh, how do I summon one back then? Because freighters take fuel, but then you can kind of summon them, and that doesn't take fuel. And, just exploring the game, not just its environments, but its systems, and kind of slowly learning what each little piece of it does.
It seems like the game at this point is very much focused on base building. And it's like, I don't see any reason to make a bigger base. It's like, I got 4 walls and a roof. It's, running itself. Got it on.
You eventually just get a lot of other
like
things
it
to build.
sent me to what they call an artifact, which you can now summon. You don't have to go to it. You actually bring it to you. And they've got all this like, oh yeah, we got all this stuff that you can go and you could find the blueprints for parts to expand your base and make it better. I'm like, why? Why would I want to spend the resources to build a better base? I got 4 walls and a roof. I don't really need anything else. Do I? So I
Base
keep going
building might
into
not
the
be your game.
base. Well, I keep on going into the base. Like, what more can I build? And it's like nothing. I've got the 5 things that I have available to me, and like I don't really use 2 of them. I just need them to make the rest of the base work. So what's the point? Base building is fine, but I just don't see any reason to spend a bunch of time building a house that you're not going to be in, and B, doesn't give you any advantages. It's not like there's storage. I mean at least
yes,
with
there is storage.
Oh, really?
You can buy storage. When you're on the anomaly and you're looking for blueprints, there's like a whole section dedicated to storage.
Oh, well, that might be nice to actually have storage there. So that I might go and check out. But I'm trying to get through the storyline, but it's slow.
It is slow. That's one of the things I've ended up really, really liking about it is I know you get this like, oh, this person named Artemis is sort of trapped in this area and you're trying to find them, and then you sort of track down someone named Apollo, and like that sort of leads you to Atlas, which is sort of this weird not devil, but sort of like this, everyone is afraid of the Atlas and no one can really say what it is, but it's this sort of antagonistic, frightening thing that everyone is afraid of, but you can meet it. Like you can meet it and you kind of can slowly learn its language. And that's interesting. And what I'm finding going through this, remembering the other parts of the game that I had played previously, I'm remembering that like, and I think I said this last week, I really like where the story goes, and I really like what it thinks about like the people's place in the universe, specifically like the Traveler, and like what makes the Traveler different than these other beings. Because like, oh, these other beings are kind of stuck in place, whereas the Traveler gets to explore. Why is that? What makes him special? And I think the game has really thoughtful things to say about the universe and our place within it. And I'm sort of getting more and more of that as I go along the story.
Yeah. So anyway, and also I just discovered last night that there's somebody on the base stations that will give you missions, which is better. Like at least I've got like, hey, I can go do something and get a reward for it. So yeah, I mean, it's a game.
And it's not necessarily for everyone. I think it is a particular genre that like for certain people. I will say though that I think is it Hello Kitty? Is that who does it? Why is that?
Hello Games.
Hello Games.
Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty. Yeah, Hello Kitty makes this. That would be a very different game, and I would love it.
Hello Games have done an amazing job supporting this game over the years, and building it up, and that deserves a respect.
In the face of some serious backlash when it came out, in the face of just pure unadulterated hate, on an epic level, they didn't give up, and I've got to give them props. It took them a long time to restore, respect. Kind of the road that CD Projekt Red is probably going to have to.
I was about to say they need to take notes.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, the hate that CD Projekt Red is got, their Hello Games was not beloved the way that CD Projekt Red was.
Yeah, they didn't have like they were just an indie developer.
There was no betrayal.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
And I mean, after the hardships they went through, like their whole studio burning down and losing most of their games, and still trying to make that initial launch window, like they've done well. That deserves respect. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you for the link to Sanrio,
the official home of Hello Kitty.
I don't know why that popped in my head. It just did.
And AC Wraith does say a marathon stream of Warframe is still owed. Just saying. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I get you. I don't know if we're going to be doing any marathon streams in the near future, but I'll be going back and playing. Japanese feminist icon. Yes, and that is why I love her so much.
Hello Kitty.
I am all about Hello Kitty. So any other games you want to talk about?
Nah, that's
I guess Sims 4. I'll mention that real quick. It's not really a like anything about the game, but I recently picked it up, and my friend let me use all their DLCs and stuff. And I love Sims, but I have it on PC now, and I'm trying to mod it, and I'm finding that I'm not going to get to play the game for a while because I'm going to be modding it and looking through content forever.
what are you trying to? What is the mod?
Well, I mean, it's just a game that like focuses on customization, so getting clothes, hairstyles,
Okay.
new traits for the characters and new aspirations, and all of that is going to take a month to figure out and like sift through because there's so much content. And I just
You're just like it's like window shopping. You're just like I want that.
That's exactly it. And each one takes a download, and each one takes like a sorting of the file. And it's good, but it's gonna take forever.
And then the question is though, once you've downloaded all of that and you play through a Sims game, will you actually use all of those things that you downloaded, or will you just end up using like 5 or 6, and then the other 100 just go unnoticed?
So you're asking too much questions. It's literally just
Okay.
you get it because you like the idea of using it.
So are you one of
Okay,
those people
fair.
that eventually gets to the point where you start torturing your Sims? Like you
No.
find a Sim that you hate and you just torture that Sim?
No, I'm a benevolent God. I would do
No,
no such thing.
I inevitably
No,
somebody pisses me off and then I just make their lives hell.
I do that, but I have to make a save first, and then you can rampage and be as evil as you want, and then you just rewind time.
Good games.
Miles, is this possible? Miles in the chat says one of his Sims died from an overdose of painkillers.
Yes, you can get drugs mods. Like there are
Oh,
straight,
it's a mod. Yeah. Oh shit. Wow.
I am looking this up right now. I want to see what it looks like to have a Sim die of overdose.
I imagine it's the same as poison. Yeah, the game ranges from like nice like little like hey, here's a new hat to XXX mods that go into very explicit detail and everything in between.
Impressive mod community.
Yes, no, there is dedication. And I heard rumors that Sims 5 is going to be announced at E3. Because Sims 4
Okay,
is
I can
8
believe
years
that.
old.
Yeah. That's a good long time. Long enough to like be owed a new update.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you guys the story about it was in the news that they came out with Star Wars content for it? And it may have been mentioned a while back, but like they did a whole poll and everything about what people wanted, and Star Wars was like the last on the list, and they're like, our next content is Star Wars.
Star Wars. Oh, that the hate on EA for Sims 4. Holy crap.
Yeah, because
it
they
is.
put out a poll that was like, what do you want to see? And at the bottom of it was Star Wars. And then the next week they're like, hey,
Good
guess what?
news! We're releasing Star Wars.
They thought they were going to have way more.
I feel like that would have come off a lot better if they didn't have that poll beforehand.
Oh yeah, because then no one would have made expectations. They're like, they're finally asking the community what they want. Maybe we'll get like the hotels we've been asking for, vehicles. No,
They should have never even asked the question. They really shouldn't have.
Are you really going to show a Sim die from painkillers on?
I mean, she just took the pills. Oh, and now she's feeling forlorn.
Wow, this is a dark episode.
It is. We're killing people. We're making children cry. We're watching Sims die of overdoses. Yeah.
And we've still got the bed bugs to come.
The trigger warning episode.
How long
All
does
right.
it? How long does it take? Because these people are just talking and chatting, and
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Let's
it just
leave it there.
scrub through the video, get to the end.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. I don't know how long it takes for somebody to actually. Oh, wait a minute, hold a second. Wait a minute. We might have something here. There we go. All right.
What?
Is it the same? Is that the same
On
lady?
New Year's Eve, no less. On New Year's Eve.
This is apparently where we're going.
Oh,
She just...
okay. Just blop. Oh, and here comes death.
Yep. That's the way it works.
Yep.
Apparently, there's an achievement in this game to get 5 ghost husbands. Essentially, you have to marry 5 people. Or no, it's to get 5 ghost roommates. But the easiest way to do that is to make a woman character and then marry 5 guys and kill each one as you marry them.
I've done that. So anyway, enough of that. Anything else we want to talk about before we hit the news?
No, I don't know how I can follow up.
Yeah.
Sim
Let's
suicide.
try to make this not quite so trigger warning. Of course, we're going to talk about the bed bugs. But yeah, that's after show.
Good.
Yeah. Let's hit the news.
Okay, I have the perfect story.
This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with gamer Edie, Nick DiCola, and Andrew Smith, who is back. And our first item is...
If you're feeling stressed because of things like bed bugs and Sims taking pills, and if you just played a game of It Takes Two, and you've had to tear apart a stuffed animal and, bathe in the tears of your daughter, you might be feeling kind of down. One of the things you can do that might make you feel better is buying a life-sized plushie of a Slowpoke, which is a Pokemon. And so there are pictures of this, and by life size, they mean like human size. So this is basically a Slowpoke is kind of like a mix between a sloth and a bear. So think of a sloth, but think of a bear, but lazy like a sloth. That kind of has a tail. And that's Slowpoke. He's big, he's fluffy, he's pink, got an adorably stupid face. And you can now buy like a plushie that is literally the size of you. There's a picture of this Japanese woman holding it, and from top to bottom, it's just as big as her. So if you need something to squeeze and feel good about, this would satisfy that.
It also costs $450.
And that's that. Don't worry about that.
All right, that's something. There we go.
Something
Don't know if I
feel good.
Started the show. I call that above the fold, but
it's not above the fold. But you need to segue from suicide into something a little lighter.
All right. So yeah, it is a light day for news because E3 is coming. What's coming when? Oh, good Lord. There is a lot coming. All right. So here is the rundown. In fact, I may just share this. I'm just going to share my notes because it's a lot to talk about. Let's see. I have to get to. All right. So here's my notes. I hope you can read it. If not, let's see if I can zoom in. Can I zoom? Okay, there we go. So E3 starts June 2015. Oh, sorry, June 12th through 15th. June 12th through 15th. But there's a lot that happens before and a lot that happens kind of sort of afterwards. So it starts the not officially, but the unofficial start, the first thing that is E3-ish is on Thursday, June 10th. The Summer Games Fest starts at 11 a.m. Pacific time, followed by Friday, June 11th. Netflix's Geeked Week starts at 9 a.m. that day, and then IGN Expo starts at 1 p.m. And I have everything here in Pacific times. By the way, ignore the typos. These are just my unofficial notes for myself. So June 12th, Saturday, E3 officially starts, and that starts with the Guerrilla Collective at 8 a.m. Pacific time, followed by Wholesome Direct at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Then the first of the big developers, big publishers, Ubisoft Forward, is at noon on Saturday. There's also going to be Gearbox and Devolver. I didn't have the actual times of those. They probably are there or abouts after the Ubisoft Forward. Usually they follow Ubisoft Forward because everybody kind of makes room for them. The next day, Sunday, June 13th. And this is what we will be doing before the next show. Xbox and Bethesda, which are going to be together this year for the first time because one owns the other now, 10 a.m. on the day of our next show, followed by Square Enix, which is at 12:15 p.m. The next day, that day, and then the PC gaming show. I'm not exactly sure of the time, but that's happening that day as well. Future Game Show is at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and Warner Brothers has also got a date scheduled. Again, I didn't know the time, couldn't find the time, but if you want to do a Google search, I'm sure you'll find it. Next day, Monday, June 14th, Take-Two, Capcom, Mythical Games, Freedom Games, and Razer are all presenting at various times throughout the day. Tuesday, June 15th, which is the last official day of E3, Nintendo Direct Treehouse is at 9 a.m. Pacific time that day. Also throughout the day is Bandai Namco, Eureka Games, and GameSpot. And then finally the E3 Awards. But just because E3 is over doesn't mean that it stops. It continues on the next day with an unofficial E3 related show of the Steam Next Fest, which is at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Wednesday, June 16th. So pretty much why we don't have much game news today. This is why we don't have much game news today.
Everyone's holding back.
I'd say Sunday is probably the most promising of the days that I'd be interested in. Like,
ditto.
Yeah.
Like I'm curious about Ubisoft Forward, but I'm not as excited about it. I want to see Square Enix because they have like the Project Athema or
Athia, I think it was.
Yeah, I was really interested in seeing that, more of that. They have Final Fantasy and a few other things. One thing I wanted to mention is that they have an award show now, which I think is new for E3.
Yeah, that's a new thing.
I know they've always had the awards, like they've always given out awards, but I don't think it's been a ceremony, which it seems like they want to make it one now.
Well, they want to kind of follow like GDC. They want to make it seem important because if they give an award like an official, because it used to be they'd give best of show the way that Cannes would give best of show in fact, I remember Left 4 Dead got best of show for E3 the year that it came out, or the year it was announced and shown at E3. So they've always given them out, but they haven't actually done an event. And so their E3 is trying to be more relevant and more forward facing to the consumer. So they want to have an award show because award shows, I mean, the Games Awards has proven that award shows are important and get eyes from the world and elevate the sponsor.
The problem for me is like you said, it screams of, to me, a sense of desperation to be relevant.
Yeah.
And looking at
that was my nice way of saying it. Yes, it's a scream for it's a plea for help is what it is.
An article by Polygon mentions that the honors given will be chosen by editors from IGN, GameSpot, PC Gamer, and Games Radar. And I know those are supposed to like report to the interest of your normal gamer, but the way that, in my opinion, gaming media has been run lately, like you don't necessarily know if they're your average gamer. And what
we have learned that especially corporate media has bent to the will of developers with money that are able to make them bend to their will.
Like, how much freedom do they have? How much implicit freedom do they have where you can say whatever you want, but, we're tit for tat, man. We're going to give you like keys and shit early if you hype us up. Like, I don't trust it.
I
Yeah,
mean,
my
you
issue.
shouldn't.
I've no, like, when it comes to games and the game media and publishers and all that, like, that's generally fine. Like, yeah, you might piss off Take-Two if you shit talk GTA, but at the end of the day, like, the repercussions from that aren't really all that big. It's only when game editors step on the landmine of Israel and Palestine that the corporate overlords step in and are like, "No, you say what we want you to say."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it also comes an issue of in the big awards. I'm sure that they're probably going to break it down with independent developers versus not independent
Yeah.
developers, corporate developers. But they're going to have a best of show, and the question
Yeah,
is,
but
would they possibly have a best
one
of show from an
cares.
independent of developer that doesn't
Sure.
have much juice?
Sure.
You
Like,
think so?
I don't. E3 Best of Show is still kind of a meaningless award because at the end of the day, it's an award for a commercial. You mentioned Cannes earlier. At least Cannes gives an award and says, this is the best movie out of all the ones we've seen. And we saw all of those movies. You had the best commercial. This is an award for the best movie trailer. That's what this is.
It
Which,
really is.
don't get me wrong, I like
You're
movie
right.
trailers. And I'm sure somewhere out there is an award for best movie trailer. And like, yeah, I kind of get into that, but don't mistake the movie trailer for the movie. This is just an award for the best trailer.
Yeah, I mean, if this had been given out 2 years ago, would have won best of show?
Yes, Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I wanted to mention it. It seems like it's desperate, but also that it's kind of useless. Like Nick is saying, it's a promotion piece for whatever game wins, whatever games get nominated, and it's not even about the game itself because it's not out yet. It's what they showed at E3, which we've learned time and time again can be faked.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I wonder if and I don't know, if they're doing anything that's specifically like community focused, because they announced a while ago this is an all digital E3, obviously, but like before COVID, they were trending in the direction of like we're going to be half of a like internal, I forget the word, studio show, and then half public show. Then COVID hit and all that kind of got scrapped. But, E3 has been floundering about what are we? Are we a show for insiders where we like show the media, show publishers, and show developers or stuff? Or are we a show for the public? And obviously they haven't been able to answer that. But I'd be interested to see what type of community things that they have going on officially to see, like, are they trying to get the community involved? They're trying to get the public involved? Or is this more just, hey, we need some games to be announced. Like, can you publishers help us out?
Yeah.
See, for me, like when you look at like the convention stuff for PAX and you see the presentations there, I don't think there's a contest, or like for me personally, but I'm just like a consumer anyways, between E3 and PAX as far as like which one's better.
Yeah.
E3 seems like super clean and like, again, professional and very corporate about what they're doing, which is fine. There's a place for that, but PAX has always been so much more fun, like just to watch and like experience even through the internet, even though I haven't been there.
Right. Well, I mean, for it depends on who you are. If you are a hedge fund manager or a buyer for games, GameStop, E3 is going to be way more valuable to you because you will be seeing what's coming up in the next year to 2 years and be able to make business decisions based on what you see. PAX does not have that at all. The only thing that PAX would benefit those kinds of people would be to gauge interest from individuals by word of mouth, by consumers. If you are a game consumer, E3 is for the most part useless. it's a good place to get swag, and that's about it, because most of what they have you will have to wait hours and hours and hours and hours for, and you can't really trust what they're saying because they're tailoring their message to those business buyers and those corporate people. PAX is way more fun because like E3 does not have after hour fun fests and concerts. I mean, they have concerts, but it's not for you. It's for the media. They have after events or during show events. It's not for you. It is for the media. Whereas when you go to PAX, it is egalitarian. Everything is open and it goes until midnight every night and sometimes later.
And I mean, the thing about PAX too that makes it the struggle, I think, that E3 really faces trying to make itself more of a public convention is that all they have are games. Like, here's some game announcements, a show floor. All they have is the show floor. But that's not a lot.
They don't even really have tabletop gaming there anymore.
Yeah, but like PAX has all the panels that go throughout the day and also through the rooms. They've got all the side rooms where you can play games, retro games, Steel Battalion, where you can just hang out.
Where you can buy games at a discount or pre-buy games. Like you go into how many people bought their games and bought card packs for Cards Against Humanity at PAX?
Oh yeah.
They have their stuff for sale.
And like what PAX realizes is that when you're a public show, you need to have more things for people to do than just stand in line for the games, because those lines can get really long. And you look at some of the lines at, PAX, and it's like, oh, here's a 4-hour wait. We're going to cut the line here. And what happens if you don't want to wait 4 hours? What do you do? And there's plenty of things outside of the show floor that you can do. And E3 doesn't have that.
You can go play consoles. You can go into a competition. You can bring your own computer and play games in a LAN party. There's you go into any hotel and the lobby is full of people playing D&D and other tabletop games, or just tons of stuff. It is the whole of downtown Seattle turns into nerd heaven.
And that sounds great to me. And I think it shows I think PAX is going to bounce back very easily compared to E3, which is floundering at the end of COVID.
PAX is going to come back huge because it is something that people will want to go to. People have been cooped up in their houses for a year and a half now. Or even if they haven't been cooped up in their houses, everything's been canceled. Money has been saved for the people that were making money. Money has been saved. There are people that got these stimulus checks that didn't need to use them right away, or were able to put away either all of them or some of it into, they're not buying lunches out. It's for people that were able to keep their jobs, and there were a significant amount of people who did keep their jobs. There's more money to be spent, and there is a desire to go do stuff more than they ever have been. That angst is real, and people are going to spend their money. People that do PAX are going to spend their money on PAX because PAX is a family more than any other show. I mean, even with talk about the enforcers are a family, and they're missing each other terribly. It's like a family reunion. Yeah. Blood Reaper said, I kept my job, and you still got those stimulus checks, and you're probably doing just fine. You're banking that money away, and you're not alone. There are a lot of people that struggle, but there are a lot of people who did not struggle and did okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I only mention this because, again, E3, like we've mentioned several times, has been floundering. It seems like it's dying. And with the loss of PlayStation, Xbox, and Bethesda, I think will have a lot of interest, but no one's gonna it's all digital anyways, but people are going to only watch the things they're going to want to see, so a lot of these streams might not get that much viewership, whereas with the whole event going on, you might have seen more just for tangential stuff that you weren't interested in, but just was there.
Speaking of which, you brought up Xbox and Bethesda. Here are the list of games confirmed for Xbox and Bethesda for the coming up show. Oh, did I just make it everybody?
Kitsune Tales.
Let's see. Let's go back to there we go. Yeah, not a lot of games that I'm like, ooh, I'm desperate to see. Batora Lost Haven, Beast of Marvilla Island, Black Book, Chernobyl Light, Death Trash, Death's Door, Endling, Eternal Cylinder, Halo Infinite, of course, is going to be there. Kitsune Tales, Kung Fu Kickball, Lamentium, Loot River, Moonglow Bay, Onsen Master, best named game so far, Run, Die, Run Again, Sable. Yeah, of course it is. Sable, Series Cleaners, Severed Steel, Shadow Warrior 3, which I'm also very interested in seeing, Starfield, that's another one that everybody's going to be watching, Trifox, and White Shadows. That's our list so far of the games confirmed for Xbox during their show. Or at least that is going to be at E3.
Yeah. I think a lot of those will appear in a montage of indie games.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I looked up Kitsune Tales just now, and it's also part of Guerrilla Collective, which has its own panel.
Right.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, Guerrilla Collectives is on at 8 a.m. on Saturday before on the first day of the show.
So clearly they're getting some content from other places as well that's not just like Xbox and Bethesda. I'm guessing it's going to come to like the Pass or something. But
yeah, well, yeah, that's what I meant, like montage of indie games. It's like, here's all the things coming to our store. Like, they don't have to do just Xbox and Bethesda, Microsoft and Bethesda games. Like, they can talk about every other game coming to their store. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Game Pass stuff too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've, I think, talked E3 to death at this point, and we're going to have more next week, obviously. But
yeah, when it has happened and is happening as we speak.
So, moving on then, do you have a news story?
Yes. This is kind of frustrating. EA is, well, by the time they announced it, it was already too late. So EA has taken several Need for Speed games off of digital storefronts in preparation for shutting down the servers in August. The games themselves are Need for Speed Carbon, Need for Speed Undercover, Need for Speed Shift, Need for Speed Shift 2 Unleashed, and Need for Speed The Run. So at the end of August, they're going to shut down the servers for those, so you won't be able to play online with friends. The in-game storefronts have already been taken down, but also like those games themselves are no longer available to buy on digital storefronts. They're just gone. And where did it go? They said that, basically the number of players playing, it makes it no longer feasible to continue the work behind the scenes to keep these games up and running. Knowing, because by pure coincidence, the other week I was watching a video about Driver San Francisco and why that game is no longer available on digital storefronts and has become like really hard to find. And there's a lot of questions about like, why was this game removed from digital storefronts? Because it doesn't have an online multiplayer component, or maybe it does, but. And there's a lot of speculation that the reason that game was taken down is because Ubisoft didn't want to have to keep paying music licensors the license to keep the music in the game. And so it's easier to take that off. And my personal speculation is that that might have something to do with these games being delisted from storefronts. Because if it was just a matter of there not being a lot of players playing online, then you can just shut down those servers. Like, plenty of publishers have shut down the servers for a multiplayer game, but kept that game for sale on storefronts.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they're removing these from storefronts is an extra step that doesn't usually happen. And my personal speculation is that they're doing that because they don't want to pay music licensors the license to, just update that license over and over again. Because if so few people are buying these games, then, no one's going to go out and buy Need for Speed Carbon today. So why should we pay to update the license to keep that game available to buy?
Yeah, and I don't...
Which I personally disagree with. Like, I think they should keep it at least on the storefront. Like, there's no reason to remove it.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, so you're saying that, like, even after the game has been released, they still pay the music rights to keep the game going?
Yeah, well, like, they pay the music rights because, let's say, initially they're like, yeah, you can keep this for 10 years. And then when that comes to pass, you have to up that license again. And if the player base has shrunk and they don't want to pay to update that license, then they could release a patch to like remove that song or remove that music from the game. But that also seems like a lot of work. And so at that point, maybe it's easier for them just to delist the game. Because so few people are buying it, so that's their reasoning.
I'm curious about this because, like, I'm wondering how this worked back when physical copies were more prevalent. Like, now that it's moved to digital,
You just kept it.
Well, like, that's my point, though. Like,
yeah,
because there's a push for digital, has at some point, like, the contracts for music changed that, like, hey, you can't use that anymore because you have a digital game and because you can remove it. We're not just selling you like the purchase rights to have that in your game anymore, like we did if you had a physical copy. And this kind of goes into a bigger, like, it's a thing that if you've been alive in the last 2 decades and you were a gamer, you've seen that from the push from physical to digital, we knew eventually that, like, we're just leasing these titles, especially if you buy it digitally, that you may still be able to play it if you bought it, but eventually these titles can go away and there won't be a way to reclaim them. Like, there won't be a way to go out and get them again.
I do think that if you've already downloaded them, if you've purchased them before, you can still re-download them, but you can't buy it new off of the store.
Yeah, well, I mean, that too. Like, I do think you'll still be able to re-download them, but that... If, say, later down the road, it's like you really got into Need for Speed, you're a really big fan, and you're like, I want to go back and play the old Need for Speed games. One of the biggest, like, arguments for PC gaming was you can just go back and buy them because they have that cross compatibility over years. Like, you can play that old Need for Speed game on your PC that was 10 years ago. And it's a worrying trend that other companies might do this.
Yeah. And granted, the music thing is just, I'm pulling that out of my ass, having just seen a video last week about another game that was mysteriously delisted from storefronts, and people speculate that was due to music rights. So I can only compare, red apples to green apples and go, this kind of feels like a similar situation.
Feels like an apple?
Yeah, it feels like an apple. Yeah, and like, I played most of those Need for Speed games. I probably would not go back to them because I don't think they were the best games. It's very telling that Need for Speed The Run is being delisted, but Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, which is the first one by Criterion, not even the remaster, but like the original Need for Speed not the original, but like the reboot of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit that came out in like 2012, I think, that's not being delisted. Like, the player base for that must still be up enough that this older game is still available, whereas the newer games are being taken down.
Yeah, I mean, clearly it's a player count issue, like they were saying. Like, they may not even have, some of these games might not even have players.
Yeah. And like I said, I fully understand if that's the case of taking down like multiplayer servers and not wanting to spend the resources to keep those servers up if no one's using them. Yeah, that's fine. I just take issue with the delisting. That feels like going a step too far of suddenly making it unavailable to everyone.
Yeah.
Of making it impossible to play. That feels like there's some larger issue at hand than just low player base.
Right.
Makes
hey there,
sense.
Bitters Plus. Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, he says, welcome back. So next item.
Right. I
Okay,
guess if you're a fan of Battlefield, the Battlefield 6
Yes.
reveal date has been announced, and that is on the 9th, so in 3 days.
Wow.
So E3.
Yeah, kind of.
Did that
it's
list
on-
have an EA thing? Is EA doing a special thing?
EA. Wow, I did not have EA listed on here.
I feel like that would be the perfect,
Yeah, there's definitely going to have EA always has one. It's usually right after the Ubisoft. Or it's right before Ubisoft. It's
it's going to
traditionally
be on the 9th,
they're
which I think is right before essentially E3.
Yeah,
Like
because
right before E3 kicks
E3 is starts officially the 12th, and Thursday, June 10th is the first of the pre-E3 stuff with the Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, I think Battlefield 6 is going to be part of EA Play.
Okay. Well, if you're waiting for information on that, it's going to be there. What they're going to reveal is not exactly clear. But of course, I mean, they're always going to say this. They said they're taking bold steps with the franchise, and it's going to be bigger and better and more draw-dropping experience for you to enjoy later in 2021. So apparently the release date will be this year.
I thought you said it's coming out on the 10th.
No, it's reveal.
No, that's the reveal.
The reveal is on the 10th. Okay.
They'll show, I'm assuming, gameplay. They mentioned that they're in the process of like balancing and basically playtesting the game.
Okay.
And I'm getting a little bit of an echo, Edie.
Yeah, I can hear him coming through your speakers.
I've always loved the Battlefield franchise, so I'm interested. I'd
ditto.
like to know what they got in store and if they actually are taking bold steps. But I think they've pretty much said they're taking bold steps every year.
Yeah, that's
And like the frustrating thing is I've really loved the last 2 Battlefield games, and I feel like everyone else hated them, especially the last one. Like I've heard Battlefield 5, like the larger community is like, no, we don't like that one, and I don't get it. I really
love
like
Battlefield 1. I still love Battlefield 1.
I love 1 and 5, like the Return, World War 1 and World War 2. I felt like really did good for those games. And part of me is hesitant of like, oh man, are we going to go back to modern times? I'm a little hesitant about that.
Yeah.
I'm on the opposite. I want to go back to modern times because Battlefield 4 was amazing to me. I played the most out of that Battlefield game.
4 was where I saw the fall off, but Bad Company was great.
I was just thinking that you and I should get together and play Bad Company again. It's been a lot of years. I mean, that's how we pretty much discovered each other, was playing Battlefield Bad Company.
That has to be on Game Pass because that's an EA game.
On Game Pass, we should play it again.
Yeah.
I think as far as Battlefield 5 goes, from what I heard, there was issues with time to kill, and like some of the updates like really turned off the community.
Yeah,
Battlefield 1 was a success, from my understanding.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, I don't know what people want from Battlefield. I don't know what I want from Battlefield.
I don't think people know what people want from Battlefield.
But you know what? I like the games. I'm interested in what they have to say. Who knows? But yeah, it's a tough situation for them, I think.
Yeah, let's make a pact that sometime this week we will pull up Bad Company. And
I'll play Bad Company 2, I think.
Yeah.
That's the best one.
That was my first FPS.
Really?
Yeah, I was terrified of FPS because as toxic as things are now, it was pretty toxic back then. And of course, I was a female and there were not a lot of female players. And I just was scared to get in there and not do well. And then people just launch into me because I was a stupid girl. It's not so much a thing anymore. I mean, in many ways, it's gotten worse. In many ways, it's gotten better.
I agree. It's gotten better because there's more options for personal chatting, like being in a party, being in a Discord chat. So you don't have to interact with the public at large, but you can still do voice comms, where that wasn't as easy.
I think Bad Company was one of the first shooters I played online. Like not one of the first shooters, but I remember Battlefield Bad Company and Modern Warfare 4. No, Call of Duty 4. Chris Salazar got me to buy both of those, and I remember he convinced me like to buy a year of Xbox Live straight up and then put in the codes for those games so that we could play together. So maybe that's why I've always liked Battlefield and stuff. It's got that fond place in my heart of like,
Yeah,
this is
we
one of
might
the
go back
first
to it and decide that it's
online
not that great a
experiences.
game.
Yeah, sure.
Blood Reaper says we should Bad Company by Bad Company needs to be played in the background when we play Bad Company. We will do that.
I agree.
It'll totally get us demonetized.
Oh, are we monetized anyways?
Not really.
It might give us a strike. We need to avoid that.
Yeah.
So, and I hate that song, by the way, Bad Company.
Really? I gotta listen to it now.
Really, it's pretty famous.
I feel like I've heard it before. I just can't.
Bad Company. I can deny. Yeah, no, I don't like that song.
Can we also have the movie Bad Company playing in the background?
That seems like too much. Like you've gone so deep at that point.
Yeah, it's too over the line. Way over the line.
We've incepted ourselves too far.
So next item. I guess I'm up now. My next item is, what is my next item? Speaking of toxic places, toxic situations, and how much better things have gotten in some ways, how much worse they have gotten. GoW Ragnarok was delayed this week. It was announced for PlayStation 5 in 2021. Sony Santa Monica Studios, which is the developer, went on to Twitter and made the announcement that they were going to be delaying it, and it's not going to be exclusive to PlayStation 5. It will also be on PlayStation 4. So they sent out via Twitter this announcement. Since the release of the next God of War teaser last year, we've been humbled by the amount of love our community has shown us, and we're incredibly grateful to see so many people excited to experience the next chapter of Kratos and Atreus' journey. We remain focused on delivering a top quality game while maintaining the safety and well-being of our team, creative partners, and families, obviously alluding to COVID. With this in mind, we've made the decision to shift our release window to 2022. Thank you all for your continued support. We've got some exciting things to show you, blah, 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 Santa Monica Studios. So, yeah, and it was also announced that instead of it just being for PlayStation 5, it is also going to be for PlayStation 4 with some crossplay, which is kind of cool. Of course, because assholes and only assholes, and there are a lot of people with questionable mental stability who play games. Psycho fans have already started targeting employees and developers at Santa Monica Studios on social media. Even some that were like, have nothing to do with the change of date at all. And people that literally just got hired like a couple of months ago. So they've only just started with the team.
I'm just a programmer.
Right. One of them being Alana Pierce, who you may know. Alana was with IGN, used to do their show, their video cast on IGN, also worked for Rooster Teeth. She is now moved into as a game writer, essentially, for Santa Monica Studios. She just got hired within the just a couple months, and already she put out this tweet that says, quote, "Aside from the ones I got from being hired in the first place, I think this is my first game dev related abusive message. I've finally been initiated. Look at me go."
It's a sign of your success.
Right. So yeah, wishing that she is gang raped. Hope you get fired because they all know you're a useless whore, and the game comes out only 2021 and PS5 only. Alana Pierce is a writer, has nothing to do with it. And honestly, it's an example of essentially psycho fans being psycho, but that's not what was really the kind of the good end of this story. There is a bright point. After Alana posted that on Twitter, Cory Balrog went on to Twitter to answer back and said, in a way that a lot of studio heads, because he's the director of God of War Ragnarok, wrote a tweet that said, for real, y'all, this is some bullshit. You want to be mad at somebody for anything God of War related, the delay, the PS4, PS5, trolls, subtitle size, SIG run, whatevs. Be angry with me. I made the calls. I did this. Don't bother the team. They are all very good people doing great work. And I don't think I have ever seen a game director when someone was like publicly saying the game is delayed. I made the call. If you hate me, come after me. I'm sure a lot of people came after him, but a lot of times they don't.
I feel like
step up.
Most probably didn't.
I mean,
the
like
same way too.
CD Projekt Red kind of didn't step up. They said, "Please leave our developers alone," but they didn't say, "If you are angry, direct your anger at me." They don't put themselves in the line of fire, and that's what Cory Balrog did. Is said, "I'm the guy. I made the call. I made the decision. Hate me," and that's kind of refreshing to see from any developer, any game director. The person that actually makes the call when somebody else is getting hit with flack for it jumps in the way and takes it.
Yeah.
So good on him for doing that.
I want to give props to Pierce in this. Like, I mean, no one deserves this, and I'm pretty sure she's had to deal with this her entire life with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But she just took it like a champ. And whether or not like this hurt her or anything, like front facing, she's just like, bitches. I am now complete. I've gone through the hazing. I'm a game dev now. And just mad respect for that. Like, you can handle that a lot of ways, and there's a lot of reasonable ways to handle that. But she's,
she's a class act.
Yeah.
Well,
she has experience with it.
Right. She has to be tough. She chose this line of work and has stayed in it. And I'm sure she's had tons of hate over the years.
And bullshit.
She's a class act, but Cory Balrog is also a real class act.
Yeah.
In that he stood up.
People need to chill. They need to realize that, like, if you're going to say this shit in real life, then you should probably, like, get help. Like,
get help. I mean, like, the whole idea of like, I hope you get fired and they deliver the game in 2021 for just PS5. It's like, wow, how not in control of reality, like completely detached from all reality.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. Alana Pierce being hired. That's what made it delayed. Come on.
Yeah. It's having so much of yourself wrapped up in like the specific product and like the specific story of that product that, like, in a weird way, it's like a snake eating its tail, because these like hardcore PlayStation fans are like, no, fuck the PlayStation 4. I want it only for PlayStation 5. It's like,
fuck, exactly.
It's this insanity where, like, even this small subset of crazy fans are now eating each other and like turning against each other because, like, no, it's not enough that it has to come out this year. It has to be just for 5. And there's an extremity there that's crazy.
I think if you look at like an example of CD Projekt Red, which is going to always be a great to go back to for this kind of stuff, delays aren't bad. Like, if that game had come out when it first announced it wanted to, you wouldn't have had a playable game, much less what released.
Right.
Like,
games get delayed, especially in a pandemic. Games are going to get delayed. Movies got delayed. Everything got delayed.
And I think that's the important thing to realize too, is that this is still a COVID-related pandemic. Like, all the stuff that got delayed initially is like the stuff that was going to come out soon, but this is one of those longer, farther-reaching consequences of COVID. Like, this is still a COVID-related delay, and you'll probably be seeing more and more of those lately.
You're going to be seeing COVID-related delays for at least 5 years, because any game that was in development, even if it was in its early stages of development, lost a year and a half of in-team work. And so it's not like all the delays end after COVID. It's catching back up.
One of the invisible delays you'll see, and we might see a lot of this at E3, is that games that weren't announced as coming out just weren't announced. Something like Elden Ring. You know, we saw a trailer for Elden Ring, but there was no release date, and then pandemic hit, and everything kind of went, and that game just kind of went silent. And people like, where is it? Well, it got fucking delayed, but you just don't know that because we didn't have a release date to like compare it against.
Right.
And I mean, for all like the reasonable arguments we can make for a delay, the fact of the matter is that's not going to affect these people. These people need help. They need to get off Twitter, and they just need to like reflect on themselves and why they're so attached to this game, why they're so hateful, because it's not necessary and it's not useful.
Yeah. Cleft5 in the chat room says disgusting behavior of those people should be prosecuted to make an example. Unfortunately, you can't prosecute them for that. It's the you know, I mean, if that was a government official, yeah, you could absolutely do it. But you can't. That's not a thing. Unfortunately, for individuals at least in the United States. But even so, there are other ways to make people pay for that kind of stuff. And honestly, the way to make them pay is to out them. You know, I'm one of the things a lot of peers didn't do is put up the guys. I'm assuming it's a guy. Because, I mean,
odds are good. We'll just go with odds are good.
Chicks probably don't say that. Girls don't say that to each other. Out them. I mean, who was it? Who was it? The developer? I can't remember who it was who was being sent rape threats and then contacted the trolls, the moms of the trolls, and said, "Hey, want to let you know what your son sent me." And the moms were like, "I will be having a conversation with my son. Thank you." That's what needs to happen to people like that. I
think in a just world, I mean, where you can have like omniscient powers, you would just deny these people the game. You'd find a way that they never get to play this game that they're so invested in. Like, that would be the answer, because I don't think the emotional response would be like, yeah, prosecute them, but there are reasons to not do that are real. But yeah, if you could just make sure that they never get to play the skin, they lost their right to do that, I think that'd be perfect. Like, yeah.
It's there's more repercussions than prosecution, than criminal prosecution or even civil prosecution, and that is the reason why that people believe that they can do this is because they have anonymity. Mm-hmm. And the way to make them go away is they feel emboldened by the
taught
anonymity.
Us anything.
That's true.
But they are emboldened by it. And
right.
Yeah.
And one of the ways to take away that that protection that they feel they have so that they could say things like this is to strip away the anonymity. Out them. Absolutely out them. Put their names on a website with their tweets.
Hope the devs are doing good and they're not taking this too seriously or to heart. They made a good God of War was a fantastic game, and I don't know how things are run with the studio, but as long as they're happy, like
I would rather have a working God of War that comes out that isn't a hot mess like Cyberpunk. I mean, delay it, take as long as you like. Just make sure that it's good when it comes.
If it's as good as the God of War that came out prior, you've done fantastic. Like, the quality's already there.
Yep. But I'm sorry that happened to Alana Pierce, and I'm sorry that it hurts my heart a little bit about the community that her response to it was like, I've finally been initiated. Look at me. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's a really sad commentary in that it could even be conceivable that is expected. It is the gauntlet that you have to run in order to be initiated into the team.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it is. Which is why when I said, though, that she's handling it like a class act that deserves respect, I mean...
It does. I mean, she's just reflecting the nature of the industry itself. And that's, I'm not angry at her. I'm just so sad about the industry that is something to be expected and to be initiated through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, any God of War would be good.
Yeah, right.
That's what Blood Reaper says. So yeah, all right, that's my item. Now my feel good item for the day.
Yeah. I
well,
mean,
it was a feel good item in that her boss stood up and said, "It was me.
True,
I was the one. I made the call. I made the decision." You know, that's what also needs to happen is that it's a combination of not letting trolls be anonymous to say things in a vacuum and feel like they don't
and
have
also
any...
not pandering to them just because they're going to buy your game.
Right. And not pandering to them or not hiding behind your, especially female developers and female employees who are getting the worst of it. And standing up and being not, I would say proud of your decisions, but at least standing by your decisions so that in a public way, so that people know who the person was that made that call. And it might be uncomfortable for them, but at least it's merited. Like they made a decision and they probably will get heat for it. But the alternative is to hide behind the company and saying, our company made the decision. It's like, no, I made the decision. It was me. Here is my Twitter handle. Go find me.
I mean, he shouldn't need to do that anyways.
He shouldn't, but
it shows like
it's better than not. It's better than hiding behind the company decided bullshit.
Yeah. All right. So,
well, speaking of conspiracy-prone people, the new free games for Xbox Games with Gold have been announced for June, and a lot of people were disappointed by them. Because there's a AAA game, but it's Injustice, which is, pretty old game. And then it's a bunch of indie games. And I guess the disappointment in the Games with Gold selection has been going on for like all of this year and a lot of 2020. And at this point, people are starting to wonder, like, are they purposely putting bad games on not big budget games on the Games with Gold as a way to get people off of Games with Gold and onto Game Pass? Are they trying to like make us not do this service so that we pick up the other service?
I don't think that's entirely like a total tin hat conspiracy. It kind of sort of makes sense. Why would you go to Game Pass if you're totally happy with your Games with Gold?
It feels less like, and even the article speculates that like the most likely thing is probably the most obvious, and that they don't want to spend a lot of money on those because it's not a high priority, which makes sense that Game Pass is probably a higher priority. And this is just an inadvertent result of them spending more money to get higher hyped Game Pass games than Games with Gold games, right? Like they're spending money on two types of free things. You've got your Games with Gold, and then you've got the Game Pass, whereas Sony's just doing their PSN games each month. That's it. And so, if Microsoft chooses to prioritize one over the other, that's not necessarily a conscious effort of let's drive people to Game Pass, as much as it is like let's invest in this thing more people use. But also, that's still just a wild-ass conspiracy theory.
Well, I mean, I think the entire reason they took off like the $60 version of Gold was to push the, unlimited plan thing. Like
that was definitely an effort to push people to Game Pass.
So I mean, clearly some thought has been put in how to market and make this better.
Yeah, how to get more people on the Game Pass.
Yeah.
All right. I have one last story.
Yep.
Far Cry 6, the writer, like the lead writer producer for it, has made a point of saying, narrative director, my bad, that Far Cry 6 will be a political story. So back when Far Cry 5 came out, there was a lot of tones of like white supremacy and just like the cult, and it quickly got attached to like right-leaning people or like the conservative party. People were like, you're making a political statement about this stuff, which I think is a little, you're telling on yourself a bit there. You're calling yourself out, but like,
Yeah. If you're complaining about a game about white supremacy and going, you're making a political statement about me, it's like,
yeah,
maybe
I
take a
mean,
moment to reflect on what that says about you.
if you played the game, it's not like
That's just like my family. What the hell?
the game was very culty. It was
Yeah.
not like analogous to necessarily like Christianity or anything like that.
Right.
But like, yeah, it got called out for being political, and the team was like expressly, no, this isn't political. We're just telling a story that we want to tell. And the same thing with most of their Ubisoft games. Like in Division, there are very political themes, but they're like, we're being apolitical with our game. Well, Far Cry 6 is the opposite. They have made a very big point of saying, yeah, it's going to have politics in it.
After the other week, they had said, yeah, no, it's not a political game.
Yeah,
Oh,
they just have to get used to that. It is absolutely political. You cannot. It's crossed over from extreme fantasy to pretty like a different reality.
I mean,
an
is there
alternate
something
reality.
that this is the writer coming out and saying, no, the story is political? After last week, I think it was either like the director or a PR person saying,
I think it was a PR,
No.
like just following the line. Like,
yeah, exactly.
and yes, I mean, they're gonna tackle stuff like, and I'm gonna go find the exact quote here. It's gonna have relevant discussions about conditions that lead to the rise of fascism in a nation, the cost of imperialism, forced labor, the need for free and fair elections, LGBTQ plus rights, and more. So like, they're going all in on this, and I think that's why this article came out in particular, because like you said, Nick, like a PR person for the game was like, no, we're not political, just like everything else. And the narrative director's like, you're wrong.
Yeah, it's and good for them. I think that it is. Well, I mean, the PR person is going to quail from that, suggestion that it's political because they don't want it to be controversial. That's their job, is to tamp down controversy before it becomes that way. And the thing is that it's nice that they are not afraid of being controversial. They're knowing exactly what beehive that they're poking and going to see what that's
ultimately comes down, if you're making a political game, it's standing behind your decision.
Right.
Like, don't cower by the fact that you're making whatever side, whatever story you're telling.
Make
like,
a game
own it.
Guerrilla fighters, then make a game about guerrilla fighters.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's kind of like it reminds me of when Carmageddon had to turn people into either zombies or barrels, when everybody knew what those represented. It's like it was ludicrous. It's like, that's going to make this game better. You're running over barrels instead of people.
Wasn't that done because of like censors? Like,
right. It was government censorship.
Way back when. This is like the self-censorship.
Right.
No, I mean, you tell your story, you make it,
and it's insulting to the audience when you say it's not political, and it is. They're respecting the audience, saying, "Yeah, no, we know what we fucking made, and we know what we're fucking going to say, and we're not going to lie to your face to say, oh, yeah, it's not political. Yeah, it is." Yeah,
like Far Cry 5, I think you could make a strong argument that wasn't political. Like, when you meet those characters, they could exist on any political spectrum.
Yep. Yeah.
That game, I don't remember a lot about it, but I remember that game had stuff to say. It's just, I remember by the end, it kind of tripped over itself and didn't do a good job of expressing those themes. But like, it had things it wanted to say, it just didn't do a good job of it, which is different than not having those themes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. It's interesting seeing like the people who are making the game take a stance and be like, yeah, we're trying to say something. We're telling a story that we want to tell.
Yeah.
I still think the best Far Cry game is Far Cry 2 because that game is like casts you as a villain. It's all about how basically like you're here to catch this like mythical bad guy, and like in the end he's like, yeah, no, you're just as bad as me. You've done just as much bad shit. All we're doing is perpetuating the cycles of violence in Africa. We're all motherfuckers and we should all die. It's like, yeah, man. Yeah.
Somebody's at the door.
But now-
I'll be right.
Okay.
All right. Do
Far
you
Cry
have any
2.
more?
More people should play it. Yes. This is just kind of a random fun story. There's an update for the PlayStation 3.
Oh, yes.
And we don't actually know what the update is. It's just there's an update for PlayStation 3. It's apparently like 200 megabytes. And it just says it's for performance issues. And that's it. But nothing else.
You have a pill for that, you know? Little blue pill.
No, I don't know. As we saw earlier this episode, that could kill you. But the most that people have speculated on social media is that it might have to do with to stop people from using pirated software, or that it might be a necessary update for the Blu-ray player, because Blu-ray players are just kind of regularly updated with new firmware, and this might be for that.
Yeah.
But that's kind of all we can do is speculate about it, because, hey, this.
Oh, I love their. This is a performance update. Is their only like note? And it's like, what did you actually,
yeah.
like? Give me stats. What's the buff?
So yeah, it's just weird that hey, this decade-plus old console. Hey, well, here's an update out of nowhere. We don't tell you what it does, but you got to download it.
Well, they're limiting the battery output so that you go buy new consoles.
Oh yeah, they're gonna purposely hobble it. Backwards compatibility is broken in those consoles that had it.
Yeah, I guess that means I have to plug in my PS3 to get the update.
Oh, totally. That'll be so useful.
It's a very important update.
No, we're not updating. All right, so my last item is Quantic Dreams. So I don't know if you were aware of this. Quantic Dreams has had a lot of lawsuits go on. Some of them have gone their way, some of them haven't, but they were in court in Paris this week for an ongoing defamation lawsuit that they have filed against the French newspapers Le Monde and Mediapart. So Le Monde and Mediapart wrote an article going into the toxic workplace that Quantic Dreams had. That they had. This was in 2018 that they wrote this article. They reported. Sorry, in December 2009. No. Hold on a second. So yeah, it was a toxic workplace. Sorry, the employees were subjected to really toxic behavior, so including the company heads would regularly Photoshop images to depict employees in sexual situations, or depicting their employees as Nazis. This had been apparently, according to the report, something that had happened at Quantic Dreams since 2013, and that many of these photos were displayed in open areas of the offices. So Le Monde and Mediapart put this article out about how Quantic Dreams is kind of a shitty place to work and they treat their employees badly. Quantic Dreams founders took Mediapart and Le Monde to court for a defamation suit, and they were in court this week for that suit. At one point, independent French union Solidaires Informatique reported that David Cage and Guillaume de Fondemiere both exhibited very strange behavior during their testimonies. Cage at one point cried on the stand, stomped his feet, screaming about interferences to his business and damage to his honor, and eventually stormed out of the courtroom completely.
What the fuck?
Near the end of Guillaume de Fondemiere's testimony, he reportedly looked at the judges and asked, "But I'm not under oath, so I can lie?" when he was asked a question. So he was asked if Quantic Dream was seriously damaged by the stories about its toxic work environment. Fondemiere didn't provide any proof of damages, so that they said, did you suffer any damages? And he goes, I'm not under oath if you're asking me that. Can I lie?
And then he says, yes, we were heavily damaged. Like,
so yeah. The verdict is not in yet. We're expecting a verdict on July 8th.
I don't know.
We might get it faster than that. You know, this might be an open and shut case.
Yep. And on top of everything, if to add to insult to injury of just their own behavior, some of the documents that they delivered to the court regarding accusations of Social Security fraud actually revealed some weirdness in them that actually seems to help the defendants and expose the fact that maybe they were committing Social Security fraud. So yeah, they provided these documents hoping to show that they were acting in good faith when they terminated an employee in the past. But when you looked at the documents and under closer inspection, the documents apparently revealed irregularities in the process that the defense actually believes highlighted a possible incident of unlawful dismissal that wasn't even exposed at this point. They might have inadvertently proven that they illegally dismissed an employee.
Children eating. These people are children. I don't. They can't even do being shitty correctly.
Yeah. Because if they did that, then that's a lawsuit. That's a very big lawsuit. I was reading an article that said if it's true that they actually might have, in efforts to defend themselves, that they were good actors, showed that they illegally fired somebody, that it would be an own goal of monumental proportions, was the quote. And it's like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that's just so wild. This puts what we just saw in court, puts the other stuff, the other accusations of photoshopping.
Oh yeah.
I believe every shitty thing about them now. They'll do whatever they want.
I told you Quantic Dreams suck, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking.
I didn't know they
sucked.
I told you Heavy Rain sucked.
Games.
I told you Heavy Rain sucked.
Listen,
Heavy Rain is the best game they've made.
Shitty people can make good
products,
but it doesn't mean they're not shitty people.
Yeah, shitty people can make good things. They're still shitty.
Fuck them.
I can enjoy Heavy Rain and still say
you
David
can't.
Cage
You can't. Heavy Rain is a bad game.
No, it's not.
Jason.
Dumb meme. It's dumb meme.
Anyways,
I've not actually played Detroit.
Jason.
So I don't know how good that one is.
Every time that you talk about how good Heavy Rain is, I'm just gonna yell Jason in your head.
It was apparently free as one of the games.
Oh yeah, it was. I think I have it.
You mean appropriately priced?
But I haven't played it yet.
I mean, now
you just hated that game.
Did you? You played the one with Ellen Page, Edie, didn't you?
What? Become Human?
No, the game, the Quantic Dreams game. Ellen Page with her ghost.
You mean Elliot Page?
Oh yeah, Elliot Page. Yes, that is correct. Two Souls, Beyond Two Souls.
Was that a Quantic?
I have to remind.
Yeah, it was. I remember it was weird because you would play it non-linearly, and I remember you played the linear version of it. because I had suggested that, but found it difficult because I guess it threw mechanics at you that it didn't teach you because it like moved things around.
Wow, I don't
game was
even
okay.
remember this game now at all.
No, I
Not
remember us
even in
talking
the
about it.
least. Wow, I might have. I don't remember it in the least. Wow, I'm gonna have to go like look for gameplay and go, oh, does this look familiar? Because I don't remember that game.
I think you'll remember it and then be like, "Oh yeah, I hated that game."
Yeah, probably.
Just say you hate it, Edie.
Because Quantic Dreams sucks.
Yeah, like it'll defend your argument now. You're good.
Yeah.
Detroit Become Human was not quite as sucky as the rest, but they all sucked. All right, so that was my last item.
Okay.
I'm mad as well.
I've got one. Oh yeah, AC Wraith. Yeah.
Yeah, AC Wraith says I still like Buffy the Vampire Slayer despite Joss Whedon, and I still like BattleTech Death from Above despite Tyler Carpenter. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, those are Buffy the Vampire Slayer is good. BattleTech Death from Above is good. Heavy Rain is not. It's not a good game.
Yes, it is. It's a good game that has a bad ending.
Period.
It's not able to wrap itself up well, but the journey is really good. It's just, no, you know what? Okay, you know what Heavy Rain is? Heavy Rain is
A bad
Game
game?
of Thrones. It starts well, the middle, there are some peaks that are like, this is great, but then you get to the end and you're like, well, shit, none of that paid off. Oh, now I'm just kind of disappointed.
No, I didn't
If
even
you
enjoy the process.
If you remember the journey,
I
the
kept
journey
on
is
waiting.
good.
I played that game all the way through, hoping it's like you were talking about what a great game it was. You just have to kind of get through that awkward beginning. And I was like, I got through the awkward beginning, and then I never got to anything that I wasn't convincing myself must just be an awkward beginning because everybody loves this game. And then I got to the end, and it's like it was all shit. No,
you guys realize that it's like a several-year-old game now.
Yes, absolutely. They've put out two games since Heavy Rain.
I know, this is a fight that I will take to my grave.
Go back,
it will be my last words. It'll be like,
yeah.
Nick, I'm dying. Come closer. I have something to tell you. Come closer. Put your ear right. Nick, Heavy Rain sucks. That's my death right there.
On your tombstone, just
on my tombstone. On my tombstone, I am calling my attorney tomorrow morning, so that on my tombstone, Heavy Rain sucks. I'm not joking about that. I am leaving that in my will.
Okay.
I am not joking.
I did not know how much you hated that game.
All right, AC Wraith, put that in your notes. Edie's tombstone.
Yeah.
As we're on episode
if I die before I get it into my will, please make sure that my attorney knows that is my wish.
I'm gonna go vandalize it by spray painting is good.
No, it's not. It's good.
I heart Heavy Rain.
All right, last story.
All right, okay.
Last story is also an interesting one. An artist is suing Capcom because she says that they stole a lot of images that she had made. And what makes it interesting is that Judy A. Jurek, Judy, she made a book called Surfaces. And this book is specifically a book of textures. And she said that she made it for visual research for artists and architects and designers, which makes sense. You know, she took pictures of things like glass and, textures, things that are all over video games. And she said that, you can use the book as reference, but if you want to use those photos in a commercial product, you have to license it out from her. She's gone through a lot of Capcom's games and found uses of that texture throughout the art. Some images, examples given in this Polygon article are the 4 in the logo for Resident Evil 4 has a kind of splashing crack in it that looks exactly like it came from a picture that she had taken of shattered glass. Other surfaces that she has, you can clearly see it used as part of a texture where they like cut and cropped the image so that they could put that texture onto another texture in the game. Or like there's one of like a 3-headed boar. That's kind of the image that she had taken. It's a relief on, a pillar or something like that. And Capcom used it and took that same relief and kind of put it on a book in one of the Resident Evil games. And just multiple images like that of, oh, this is a texture that clearly she had done that looks one-to-one in the game. And what's also interesting is a while ago, there was a leak from a bunch of Capcom stuff. There was a data breach. And in that leak, some of the stuff that came out was for Resident Evil Village. And I guess she's gone through that, or her lawyers have, other people have. And one of the files, one of the texture files in that leak for Resident Evil Village had the same name as the stuff from her book.
Yeah, actually they didn't even change the name of the file from the image name. It was 00, what was it, like 0043 or something like that?
ME009.
Yeah, ME009. And that was the name of the file that they had, ME009.
And so it's not even an issue of like, a boar's head relief. And, oh, that's the name of the thing she did. And they made boar's head relief. It's like, well, okay, that's a logical description of this thing. I could see how two people could come up with that. But no, it's ME009.
Right.
It's something that no one would name that coincidentally.
So she has filed for $12 million for copyright infringement.
I mean, because
she's also seeking damages for false copyright management and removal of copyright management, which is between $2,500 and $25,000 for each used photograph.
And considering like the book was published in 1996, and like this goes back to at least Resident Evil 4, that could be a lot of instances of use. 12 million seems like it's definitely appropriate.
And it's pretty like open and shut. I mean, you can see on these particular images that let's see if I can make it bigger. No, not that one.
Yeah, I think scrolling down to the other one is good because like that specific image has like a texture with a certain pattern where there's like a certain empty zone that's like not textured. And you can see that specific empty zone in that same specific shape repeated in the Resident Evil textures. And it's like, that's not, the human eye is good at finding shapes.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's a very distinct shape.
Right.
That, the odds of a texture artist at Capcom creating that exact same shape in that exact same way feels larger than winning the lottery.
And if it was just that, though, like
it's a bit like DNA at that point.
I mean, if it was just the one, maybe they could get away with it, but it seems like they have a lot of evidence.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, it's pretty much an open and shut case. This is going to be very, very, very hard for them to defend against. So, in other words, we're never going to hear about this lawsuit again.
Yes.
They're going to settle
quietly settle
for a lot. Maybe not 12 million, but they'll be settling for a lot of $1 million for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably more money than that book ever made.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
As the author.
If she still gets like royalties or commissions, or I'm not sure how she sets it up when people want to use it commercially.
Yeah,
but
there's a way to license the textures. So like maybe this doesn't get royalties, but like, hey, just pay me to use the work.
Right. So yeah. And there's the article if you want to actually go a deep dive into the images, and on that article is actually the full lawsuit. So you can see it. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, that's all I got. And you guys got anything else?
No, that's all I got.
All right.
Same.
So what are your hopes and dreams for E3?
I want to hear about Skull and Bones from Ubisoft.
I want to hear about Beyond Good and Evil 2 from Ubisoft. But they're not gonna. They might tease something, but it's literally a complete cock tease on that one.
I will bet either of you $5
Mm-hmm.
that like yes, Starfield is confirmed to be at the thing by Microsoft.
Yep.
We are not going to hear anything about Elder Scrolls 6. Nothing. I mean nothing. There's not even.
It won't even get mentioned by anyone from any developer, anything.
Not on the stage. No, okay. I'll bet you that like Todd Howard or someone will come out and be like, when introducing Starfield, they'll be coying like, and we're hard at work on Elder Scrolls 6, or some bullshit like that. But in terms of like any sort of announcement or thing like that, no. The teaser we got like 4 years ago, that's all you're gonna get for the next 4 years.
You think so?
Nothing. Like they're not gonna have a release date. Obviously not.
I'll take you on that bet. I will take you on that bet. What do you want to bet?
We have $5.
$5? All right, $5. $5 that there is some mention, something is said about Elder Scrolls.
Oh, because that's the thing. I imagine anything said will be nothing more than a platitude and an acknowledgement that it exists. Nothing beyond, yes, we're working on it.
Okay.
You're not going to see, no photo, no video, no screenshot. We will not see the words Elder Scrolls 6 projected anywhere on stage.
I'm going to take that bet, not because I believe I'm going to win, but because on the off chance that I may win.
Same.
Okay.
Same. I'll do. You'll owe us. You'll owe $10 if we lose.
Okay. Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it. I think you have a much higher chance, but it is, it's like bidding $1 on The Price is Right. It's not that I know that the price is $1. It's that I think I'm just confident enough that you might be wrong. You might have overbid on that one.
I think we'll see something for Elder Scrolls.
No.
All right. Well,
I
AC Wraith, our bookie, will let us know
that I think that somebody from BioWare may say something about Dragon Age. I think that it will be completely bloodless.
I guess that would be the EA thing.
Yeah,
You'll get like
EA thing.
I don't know. That might be another one where nothing. Just don't mention.
Just don't talk about it. Whatever you do, don't mention the war. Yeah.
Jim mentioned that it existed years ago, before we were ready.
And I would say that normally I would go, yeah, they're not going to fucking mention Dragon Age at this point because they've scrapped everything that they've had now twice. The fact that the BioWare team BioWare's Twitter has on a fairly not regular basis, but not infrequent basis, dropped new images or made some kind of mention. Their Twitter account, they've got every once in a while something gets pumped out, and it's like we don't want to fucking see that. And there's been enough talk about how it's been scrapped twice that it's not like it's not in the news. They can't just go, we're working on it. Mm-hmm. It's literally been scrapped, everything they've done twice, one of which the people working on it said was the best game they've ever made.
Yeah, but that was not the one that's coming out.
That was the one that was scrapped first.
Yeah.
So I think that there's not a zero possibility that something might get mentioned, just simply because of those two bits of kind of anecdotal information.
I think my swing for the fences prediction is that we're going to see something from Take-Two about a new BioShock game. Because there's been enough little bits and news and stuff about a new BioShock game. We know that they're working on it. Like that has been mentioned before. And it's gone under the radar enough. My thing is like they're gonna not give a release or anything like that, but they're gonna tease and sort of come public.
That's not a
Here it
bad.
is.
That's not a bad swing. That's a pretty solid swing because they are obviously going to be presenting something.
I mean, yeah, they have a show.
They have a show.
Yeah.
Right. They got to fill it with something.
Yeah, and it can't all just be GTA Online expansions.
And FIFA, you know.
Well, if Nick had a solid swing, then I'm going to go for the fences and be completely wrong. Evolve 2.
Okay, yeah.
You know, if they were ever going to go back into and just pull a random piece of crap out and just make something that nobody expected and has potential, I think Evolve 2 might work.
No, you know the best, most impossible thing that Take-Two could say that would get me genuinely excited.
Yeah.
Undead Nightmare 2 for Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, that'd be good.
Undead Nightmare was a super cool expansion that, like, out of nowhere, like, you weren't expecting it. It was so good. I would love to see that.
All right.
I don't think that's possible, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I can't think of any swing for the fences other than we're going to see 2K22 on everything.
I mean, I don't know at this point on Skull and Bones and Beyond Good and Evil 2, like both just swing for the fences and possibilities, big dreams that will never come true.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out in a couple of days. Are we going to watch these things together?
We could. Yeah,
I work
probably.
for most of them.
Which ones don't you work for?
Sundays. Basically, it's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
We could do an early show for Sunday and watch Xbox and Bethesda at 10 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. next week.
I'd be down.
And transition into the show.
I just have to wake up before noon, and I'd be down.
Could do that. All right. So anything else before we close out the show?
That's all I got.
All right. So then let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds, episode 597. We recorded this on Sunday, June 6th, 2021. I've been Edie Sellers. With me has been Nick DiNicola and Andrew Smith. If you want to get a hold of us, it is gamehounds.net. That's the website. You can also email us at gamehounds@gmail.com. We record this show live every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. We do the audio version on Spreaker. That's speaker with our Spreaker.com. But if you want to join us and watch us, our happy, shiny faces, we do a video cast. This video cast is 100% funded by patrons. If it weren't for you, this would not exist. Thank you so much. Please don't forget that our Patreon is at patreon.com/GameHounds. Thank you to all of our patrons. Without you, we wouldn't be here right now. At least you write like the video part of it. But you can join us live, whether you're a patron or not, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Facebook and Twitch, we are the GameHounds. YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids, VIDS, as in videos. Please don't forget, if you watch us at any of those locations, especially YouTube, like and subscribe, and then hit that notification bell so that you can be sure that you will be notified that we're going to do a show. You won't miss our shows, and you'll be here every single week. Have a great weekend. Also, yes, don't forget that you can download the show and listen to it as a traditional podcast. You can, of course, see the videos at all of those locations, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, but you can also get the show as a audio podcast on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, pretty much anywhere where you get a podcast. That's where we are. If you do listen to us on iTunes, please don't forget to leave us feedback. It's very important. That way we know what we can improve, and also it makes it easier for other people to find us. Nick, Andrew, we will see you next week at 10 a.m. Pacific time to watch together the Xbox and Bethesda. Join us live there too. Have a great weekend, everyone. Have a great week. Please be safe. Don't forget to wear your masks and be well. Get yourself vaccinated. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta pee. We're still audio is out, video is on. I have to, because I've been drinking water. Okay, you have to head out, so you're not going to hear about the mating cycles of a bed bug.
No, I'm okay with that. And
okay, so Nick, it is all your show. You and the people chat. I have to absolutely go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I'll
chat,
be right back.
What do you want to
bye, chat.
talk about? How's your day going, chat? Just vamp here for 10 minutes. I actually have a Wikipedia of the bed bugs open, but I have not read it. So I don't know what I'm getting myself into. But, I mean, I don't know. I've heard plenty of other horror stories of horror bugs. There's that one that The Last of Us is based off of, right? The bug that, like, gets in the brain of an ant and makes the ant climb to... what? Phil Collins? Okay, the key phrase is traumatic insemination. That says a lot. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, The Last of Us. Oh, I guess not really Last of Us, but the bug that inspired them. Like, it's a disease that affects ants' brain, that makes them crawl to the top of leaves so that they can get eaten by birds, so that the disease can go into the birds and affect them. So, like, it basically turns ants suicidal and turns them into, like, biological bombs, basically. There's that one. What? There's also the slug that will vomit out its stomach to... Yeah, this one is a fungus. The slug that vomits out its stomach has a way to, like, catch its prey and then sucks it all back in. And that one actually looks really cool. When you know what it's doing, it's kind of disgusting, but when you just look at it, it's like a horror movie come to life. But other than that, those are the only two, like, crazy, awful bugs that I know of that I've sort of collected through culture and things like that. Other than that, yeah. So, Blood Reaper, good to know it's going fine on your end. That's good. I know I did download the comic.
Sorry,
so I'm looking forward to reading that either today or tomorrow, this week. I want to read the comic that a listener sent, Belial, issue 1, that you can get from the Discord. Like, check it out to help out fellow GameHounders.
All right. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, it's on the chat. I have the Wikipedia open, but I haven't read it. And then Phil Collins gave me a little tease with the words traumatic insemination.
That's it. Traumatic insemination. And I'm trying to find if there's a good description online. Let's see. Hold on a second. Bed bugs, traumatic insemination. Oh, this is out of the thing. Let's see. Okay, in male bedbugs, I'm reading out of cnx.org, which is an academic paper describing the breeding cycle of bedbugs. In male bedbugs, the intromittent organ is highly specialized for traumatic insemination. The organ is not only sclerotized, but also curved and needle-like, perfectly for puncturing the exoskeleton. However, males don't just intromit their panomeres anywhere on their partners. In female bedbugs, they have a unique organ called the spermolage, which is thought to have evolved as a counter adaptation to the antagonistic traits of the male. The spermolage consists of both during traumatic insemination, a male bedbug inserts his intromittent organ into the ectospermolage, a groove in the right hand posterior margin. The sperm is then injected into it, which contains an interesting point to note is that bedbugs copulate exclusively by traumatic insemination, and it's bad. It's a very bloodless description of it. Essentially, male bedbugs have a hard, curved, pointy penis, and there it is.
Okay.
They seek out female bedbugs, and then they grab hold of them and stab her in the abdomen with this this hard curved penis, and then inject sperm into her abdomen directly. Female bedbugs in a bad infestation where there's, lots of males, lots of females, female bedbugs actually end up having to hide from the males because there are so many of them repeatedly stabbing them that they end up just trying to hide because they are being essentially stabbed and injected with semen, with sperm. So repeatedly that some of them end up being fucked to death. Some of them die from it.
How has the species survived?
They're just awful, awful little creatures. They are just horrible. Oh, there we go. Here we are. Let me see if we get. There's actually
a video. Oh fuck.
Yeah. The male bedbug just grabs onto the side of her and then just stabs her repeatedly, injecting her with semen.
Do we have David Attenborough
narrating
this?
I don't even want to know what the narration is. Yeah. But that's what he's doing, is that he's just stabbing her and injecting it into her sides. And if you think about that, think about just being a young girl, bedbug, growing up to maturity, and then all of a sudden all the males are stabbing you over and over and over again to the point that you're dying, and they don't stop stabbing you and injecting you with sperm.
That's crazy. Because
it is awful. Awful.
Man, yeah, fuck bedbugs.
Yeah, bedbugs are horrible, horrible, horrible things.
And how has that species survived when its reproduction is so violent that it could kill
the
female? How evolution how does the evolution work that it gets to that point? Well,
just pure evil.
You get there and yeah, this system works, let's keep doing this. Yeah, this system works, let's keep doing that. How does the evolution cycle to get to the point where
DJ Collins has the best answer. Nightmares. They feed on nightmares.
Yeah, right. Okay, so.
Yeah. AC Ray says, I'll skip the links and let Edie disgust you with her words alone. You're welcome. It balances overcrowding. So yeah, I mean, if you want to add that into one of your stories about just a fucking horrible thing, traumatic insemination. The two words
Yeah.
that should never go
I
together.
don't know. I feel
but
like
do.
that bleeds into an area of real life horror that's like, oh, this is no longer fun.
DJ Collins says, I hope there's no "so I'm a bed bug, so what?" or "so I'm a bed bug, so what?" hentai. Oh, yeah, truly nightmares.
I know there is a bizarre ass video of fuck, what's that actress? She's like Italian Isabella Rossellini,
Mm-hmm.
of her like mimicking the life cycle of a bed bug
Oh,
or something like that. But
she
like
is
it's
such a
weird.
Rossellini
It's
daughter.
weird because like she's in a costume that's dressed up like a bed bug.
Oh, awful.
Rossellini
Let's see.
bed bug. Where did I fucking see this? Where did I see this originally? I have no idea.
So I'm reading another article out of Nature. It says compared to other strepsipterians, the copulation is distinctly prolonged. This may reduce the competition between sperm of the first mating male and sperm with others. Copulation that involves wounding of a mating partner by specialized devices is a widespread and diverse phenomenon in animals and evolved multiple times within different taxa. It occurs in nematodes, terrestrial arthropods, flatworms, rotifers, annelids, snails, and slugs, and even amphibians. In arthropods, this bizarre mode of copulation, termed traumatic insemination, occurs in one spider and fruit flies and is prevalent and best investigated in sisiomorph bugs. In this megadiverse lineage with approximately 25,000 species, traumatic insemination has evolved at least 3 times independently. It is assumed that traumatic insemination evolved due to sperm competition as a means for males bypassing the female genital tract and sperm storage organs and thereby circumventing pre- and post-copulatory female choice mechanisms.
Hmm.
Ugh! Fuck, that's all fucked up! Ugh.
Oh, okay, yeah, AC Ray found it. I guess she had done a series about like mating of bugs because there's also one about earthworms and weirdly enough one about Noah's Ark. That's like her in these weird costumes talking about shit. I'm really curious now where I first saw that video because I know it was somewhere.
Yeah, I'm.
Are you scrolling through it?
Oh yeah, here we
Seeing
go.
her getting stabbed with a knife.
Another one. No, here's another picture of a penis. The external genitary structures of S. ovinae, which is not bed bugs. It's another kind of bug that does traumatic insemination. The penis in the left is the penis is in the resting state, uncocked, and then the penis unfolded, so that essentially it just kind of hammers down and drills into them. Just horrible. Oh God, the penis is broken off in the invagination. Oh man, just all kinds of horrible stuff. So yeah, there's the thing of nightmares that you can add to your next show thing.
Yeah, maybe not.
Traumatic insemination.
I don't need to get into raped to death.
Yeah, like
stories.
Like a version of Kafka's Metamorphosis, but from the point of a bed bug, and just have it like, what was the name? It was Tusk. Yeah, it's like your Tusk. Kevin Smith Tusk.
Yeah.
No, yeah, where it was just
becoming a
a
walrus.
really fucked up, really
Someone
just
becomes a bed bug.
fucked up movie. Yeah, where he becomes a bed bug and has to traumatically inseminate.
I mean, I guess
Maybe
If you-
unwillingly
if
or
you
willingly.
if you make the monster a bed bug, then you've just got a porno movie.
Right.
You've just got
Or
like someone said, you've just got a hentai show there.
yeah, or a guy that wakes up like the Kafka's Metamorphosis. You know, instead of waking up as a cockroach, waking up as a bed bug, and here you are, like you said. So I'm a bed bug. Now what? Like trying to
God.
date in the world when you're a bed bug. Yeah, Tusk. Yeah, I've never seen it. I don't want to see it. It just sounds awful.
I've never seen it. I want to because
Nope.
from what I understand, it's more goofy than scary. It's not the Human Centipede.
Yeah, Human Centipede is another one. That's one. It's
Yeah,
like
Human
I
Centipede
don't
is
need
like,
to know.
no, I don't need to see that.
Yeah.
Tusk is more goofy because it's Kevin Smith, and even when he makes a horror movie, there's still
It's
like
still a Kevin Smith horror
Yeah.
movie.
If I remember, I think he made that one based on like a dare too. Oh, it was like him and his friend getting high, throwing out movie ideas, and then it was like, oh yeah, I should actually do that.
Great headline for a pest control company, which is where you find most of the information about bed bugs. X-rated traumatic insemination by Sydney's best pest control. Ugh. Ugh. Just awful. So there you go. Now you can all have a nice Sunday evening nap and dream sweet
More
dreams.
you know.
All right. So, yeah, sorry. Should have probably done trigger warning before that.
Yeah. I mean, people knew going into bed bugs.
Biology, especially in the insect verse, is fucked up.
Oh yeah,
way
I was
more.
even before you got here. I was talking about like the fungus that makes ants suicidal so that they get eaten by birds, and so it can kill the birds, or the worm that vomits its stomach up
Mhm.
to then suck people in. Nature doesn't give a shit.
Nature, yeah. There's some. I mean, we are living, especially in a first world country. We don't get exposed to a lot of crazy ass shit out there.
Mhm.
There's some crazy ass shit out there. Biology
Yeah.
is incredibly. It is evolved in incredibly fucked up ways. So, yeah, we're. I'm kind of proud of us that we actually managed to be human. As fucked up as we are not as fucked up, the most fucked up thing on the planet.
Okay, that's low bar, but you know what? We did it.
We
We're
did
not
it.
bed bugs.
We don't traumatically inseminate. We don't throw up our own stomachs to get our meals. Somehow we've managed to not be awful. All right, guys. I'm
Wait,
gonna go.
Phil Collins said he found something.
Had the
Okay.
paper, but had to go find a normal article about what? Oh, remember listening to Kevin Smith podcast when it was just an idea of a guy forced into a costume? Then that happened.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tusk.
Yeah, I actually listened to that show of
I've
him coming up with it.
I've seen videos of like him mid transition, and it's just like, that's fucking weird, but that's also kind of funny. And then I think it ends with him fighting another walrus. Like
Maybe
from what
you'll have to tell me.
I don't know
I
why
have no desire
I
to see
have a
Tusk.
weird vision of like two walruses on something silhouetted by like the moon in the background with the tusks like grr, 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 like fucking lightsaber dueling with the tusks.
All right, I'm pulling up the trailer.
Maybe I'm just gonna look up the ending. Can I just get a vision of the ending? Oh no, that's 1 year later. I don't want to see 1 year later.
Is this it? Oh yeah. Justin Long, was he in Tusk?
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, definitely.
Was that? Oh no, that's him. Okay.
And podcaster. Well, it makes sense. He came up with the idea of the show. I think he was on a podcast when he was coming up with a show. Or maybe I was just listening to him talking about it.
Oh shit, is that Sixth Sense kid?
Probably. Yeah. Haley Joe Osment? Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
And that's Walter White.
I unfortunately can't find a video of just the like ending.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm now you know things you shouldn't probably have in your head, but are there now. Can I have nothing else to talk about. What are you gonna play tonight?
Probably No Man's Sky, obviously. But then I do want to download what's it called? Battlefield.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's download Battlefield. And also remember, are you interested in playing It Takes Two?
And kind of like I'll wait for it to come on sale.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait for it. $40 is a lot, especially for a game I'm gonna play once. Because if it's anything like what was that game that we played together?
A Way Out?
A Way Out. If it's anything like A Way Out, I mean, it was fun, but it was like 2 evenings and it was over. And it's like, $20 a day. That's a bit expensive. So, I think I'll wait until it's on sale.
Okay, I think my image of like the tusk silhouetted by the moon is not real, but there is a walrus fight at the end.
Okay, let me see if I can look it up. Tusk walrus fight. Oh, it's just somebody showing it.
Yeah, someone recorded it off the video.
Yep. All right. Have a good one. Well, I guess I'll see you on PlayStation.
Yes.
Hey, by the way, thank you, DJ. Thank you, AC Wraith, of course, always for being here. Thank you to everybody who was listening. I don't know if everybody is still on.
Yeah. We went down a very different path after video games.
Yeah. And I can't scroll back to find the who was it? The person that said thank you for. I guess it's already scrolled off. The person who said thank you for wearing a mask. Yeah, thank you for and Cleft 5 for being in there. I think it was Cleft 5 who said that thank you for wearing a mask. Thank you for noticing. And if you at all feel sick, wear your mask if you care about the people you love. All right. I'll let you know how the COVID test goes. I don't think I have COVID.
Yeah, because you got the vaccine before.
Well, they do have breakouts. I mean, you can still get sick. It's not 100%.
It's just rare.
Right.
And
it's rare, way rarer.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could easily have it. And just the vaccine gives me this, it reduces the symptoms. So chances are probably if I do have it, would not end up in the hospital. And because that would be horrible.
Okay.
That would be financially devastating. So yeah, I mean, that's another reason to get the vaccine is that even if you do get it, on the rare chance that you do get it, you don't get nearly as sick. All right. So I will talk to you all next Sunday, 10 a.m. Remember that. Sunday, 10 a.m. Right?
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
10 a.m.
See y'all later. Thanks for everybody for being here.
Yep.